Greetings all, welcome back to the Onyx Path Twitch for Onyx Path's virtual gaming convention. It's certainly been a long weekend so far and a very successful one. I think we've all been enjoying ourselves with a lot of very fun, sometimes silly, sometimes horrifying games. And this one is going to be a bit of both. First thing I'm going to do before I introduce my fantastic guests, my players, is I'm going to talk a little about the convention. Sorry if you've heard it before, but there's some important stuff that I want to get out of the way to cover first of all. Firstly, this is our very first virtual gaming convention that we've run, and to date, so far, it has been going superbly. All credit goes to the fantastic folks at Gehenna Gaming, one of whom is with us for this game, Ian Muller. Also, thanks to Travis Legg, who's I guess on our side of the of the divide, who has been working hard behind the scenes on production as well as the Vorpal Tales team. We've also got charities, and I do want to point people towards the charities now because you'll be so fixated on this game that you may forget to donate.
Captivated, you mean?
Exactly. You may forget to donate while we are playing. Onyx Path Con is supporting two different charities, the Thurgood Marshall College Fund and the Bodhana Group. They are both fantastic charities. We are not charging people for participating in this convention. You don't need to pay to watch. You don't need to pay to play. But if you have it in you, if you have the spare dollars, even if it's only one, a donation to either of those charities would go a long way. You can find both of them on onyxpathcon.com. We've already raised a nice amount. I would love to see it go up even more by the end of day 3, the day we're on right now. Other things to cover, not much more, but 2 more. First is also on onyxpathcon.com. You've got access to a lot, and I mean a lot of RPG discounts right now. So if you are in the market to buy a role-playing game based on what we've been doing, or just because you fancy buying something new, whether it's in PDF or hardback, or even dice, we actually have access to all these things on onyxpathcon.com, and there's money off on a whole slew of products. So please do check that out. Take advantage of it while you can, because once this convention is over, the sale will be over. And the final thing, we will be doing a giveaway as part of this stream. At some point, probably about a third of the way through, 3/4 of the way through, we will do a bit of a raffle of people who are active in the chat for this stream, and one of you will win a PDF copy of They Came From Beneath the Sea before it is released to the general public. It has already gone out to the backers of the Kickstarter. It hasn't yet gone up on sale on Drive-Thru-RPG or in stores. It is being printed, so you can win a free copy of that PDF. So stay active in the chat, and you are in with a chance. So with that said, I should introduce the players, and then I'll come back around so you can introduce your characters. Let's just give you some brief introductions, who you are, why you're here.
Let's introduce the game first? What are we
No,
playing?
no.
What's it about? No, nothing? Okay, cool.
No,
All right,
we'll
let's go for it.
People are here to see the stars.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it. I mean, you, Rich, definitely you.
Well, speaking of the stars, Dixie, who are you? Why are you here?
As a person and a player. I'm Dixie Cochran. I work for Onyx Path. I edit. I am one of the in-house developers. I do some writing. I do all kinds of stuff. And I am playing Rose Thorn, Monster Hunter.
We'll get a little more on Rose Thorn in a minute. And we also have with us B. Dave Walters. Hello, Dave. How are you doing? And what can you tell the audience about yourself? He's already on fire.
My unlimited power is what that is there. Yes, I B. Dave Walters. I say words about things. I'm playing a game with Matthew Dawkins, which hey, dreams come true, kids. Spent years reading this man's work. I got to collaborate with him on a project, a little game called Werewolf, 5th edition, and now we're getting to roll some dice together. So happy to be here.
Oh, no, I'm glad to have you here. And we also have with us Mr. Richard Thomas.
Hello.
That's enough out of you.
Yes.
And Everyone knows who you are. Anyone who isn't aware, who is tuning in from outside our little bubble.
Which apparently
Rich,
there are, which is
yeah.
a surprise. That's nice.
Yeah. Rich is our creative director at Onyx Path Publishing, and is this the first game I've ever ran for you?
I believe it is.
Yeah. Okay. No pressure then. Could be fired come
We
tomorrow.
have played games before, but this is the first one I think you ran.
Yeah.
You know, if it starts going wrong, just like tug on your ear and I'll throw it. Like I'll make it all weird, and everybody will be like, "Oh my god, that like Dave guy was terrible."
Yeah. We'll
And
blame you.
that's it. I'll be your stunt Dawkins today. It's fine.
This game doesn't go all weird at some point. I don't think we're playing it right.
Exactly.
And we also have, and I mentioned him earlier, but he's worth repeating, Ian Muller.
I don't
Hello,
know about
Ian.
that. I'm Ian E. Muller. I'm the VP of Strategy for Gehenna Gaming. Assisted in getting this convention up off the ground, and we're a group that specializes in playing horror games, and I am very, very, very much looking forward to this one.
And this game is They Came From Beyond the Grave. So a little bit of background. Yeah. That sounded more like drums than a thunderclap and lightning strike. But They Came From Beyond the Grave is a tabletop role-playing game, virtual role-playing game in this case, that is based strongly on the movie genre of horror in the 1970s. Hammer horror, Amicus movies, Roger Corman movies, monster movies, when the blood was so bright red it pops off the screen, when you couldn't move for elbowing Christopher Lee, Ingrid Pitt, or Peter Cushing in the chest, where screams were so loud that they would make people cut their hands over their ears in the movie theater. That is what They Came From Beyond the Grave is. However, just like those movies, it's also a little hammy. It's a little overacted. Like its precursor game, They Came From Beneath the Sea, which you may be familiar with, as I mentioned it, it has an air of farce to it, an air of nonsense, an air of this is slightly maybe overproduced and overacted. That some of the individuals participating in it maybe even feel like they could be somewhere a little better than this. So expect a little bit of metagaming. That's part of the name of the game and They Came From. The players can make very odd things happen to their characters, and their characters are completely oblivious to those odd things going on, except they happen. And we'll get into those now as we talk about rules and system. Now, I partly do this for you, the viewers, because this is going to be the first you've really seen They Came From Beyond the Grave. I'm doing it as well for the players because none of these fine people have played They Came From Beyond the Grave before. So we're going to be playing it as rules light as possible to make things flow. Simply put, in this game, as with all story path games, is a D10 dice pool game, and difficulties are 8s and above. In other words, if it's a difficulty 2 task, you need 2 8s or more. If you roll 10s, that counts as 2 successes. So that's lovely. There's this little feature in StoryPath called enhancements and complications. Enhancements, in very simple terms, essentially give you a bonus. They reduce the difficulty by 1, if you like, or give you an advantage to the outcome of your roll. So you don't just knock someone out, you knock them out with panache. Likewise, there are complications where you could see it as increasing the difficulty of a roll, but I prefer to see it as, yes, you may well scale your way over the chain link fence that appears in pretty much every single example play scenario in every single role-playing game, but you tear open your pants and your wallet falls out on the other side of it, exposing your driver's license to the monster that was pursuing you. That kind of thing. So that's the basic rules. You've got difficulty 8 D10s, nice and easy. Where the They Came From aspect comes in, and all 4 players have got character sheets for this game. If you have a look at your character sheets now, my fine players, you will see that you have a couple of things. I've not filled out the entire sheet, but I've filled out trademarks near the bottom right and quips as well near the bottom left. Trademarks are very akin to specialities in a Chronicles or World of Darkness game, in that you can invoke a trademark, which is like a quotation. It's like something you would apply to a skill or an attribute as you use it. And if you use it in that way, you roll 2 additional dice. You can do that once per session, which is just as well because this is a one-shot. Nice and simple. If you succeed and do that, it is classed as an award-winning scene, which we will get into if that happens. Quips are where the game starts becoming particularly movie-like, because those of you watching who are familiar with the movies of the time, and many others, will be familiar with pithy one-liners that make it into the trailer, or the things that you remember when you're exiting the cinema. And the characters in this game have quips that I have dealt to them in the traditional game. They're on cards, and you can have them, slam them down when you want to use them, whilst uttering. Obviously, this is a virtual environment, so they have them on their character sheets instead. Some of these quips are going to be appropriate to a situation. Some of them are going to be completely inappropriate to the situation. But as long as the quip use is entertaining, and we decide that by the players taking a vote, and I decide on a tie, was it entertaining? Laughter is also a good judge of that. You gain an additional die to your next roll. That's nice and simple. If that roll is a success, you keep that quip, and the next time you use it, you gain 2 dice to your next roll. And if that's successful, you keep your quip. Next time, it's 3 dice. So you can end up with a character who just keeps spouting out the same dreadful line over and over again over the course of 3 to 4 hours.
That was my plan.
Yes, just to gain additional dice.
Rich has memorized exactly one of his quips. He's going to use like over and over again.
And again, it doesn't have to be appropriate. It just needs to be entertaining. That's the rule. So, final thing, and then we can actually get on and play with character introductions, of course. The final thing, and this is something that I am going to be copying into both the Twitch chat, although it will get lost there, and also our Zoom chat, is the cinematics that you have to play with in this game. Cinematics are meta powers. They are powers that the player can use to affect the run of the game. These generally are powers that the characters have no awareness of. They just happen, and the characters have to roll with it. Now, they could act, what the hell's going on, or they could be just completely oblivious and roll with it because they're in character. And those cinematics in this game there's a few favorites from Beneath the Sea, and we've got some new ones too. We've got Cheap Set. So for the cost of 2 rewrites, which we will get onto in a minute, you can basically burst through a wall, knock down a door, break someone's gun in your hands, or make a dagger bend when it hits you, that kind of thing. It's a cheap movie. It's a 1970s horror movie. Therefore, there is a cheap set. You can buy that off with 2 rewrites. There's a costume change. Costume change is something especially for Beyond the Grave, where your character walks out of set and walks back on, and they're dressed completely differently. Now, the functional purpose of that may seem quite slim, but if, let's say, you're trying to disguise yourself as a cultist, or disguise yourself as, I don't know, a butler in a creepy mansion, maybe a costume change is exactly what you need so that people don't look twice at you. Alternatively, you could just do it for thematic reasons. You were just covered in blood. You walk out, you walk back in, your makeup is completely redone, and you've got a completely laundered suit. Deleted Scene, another old favorite from Beneath the Sea, which costs 3 rewrites. It's, I think, the most expensive one there. Allows you to retroactively say that you did something that you didn't. Now, you can play that deleted scene out, or we can just say it happened. Most common use for it is no one described themselves as arriving at this spooky mansion with a gun, but I'm going to use this deleted scene cinematic to say, there's a scene back there where I put a shotgun in the trunk, and I'm now going to go and fetch it. Or you've just got it in your hands because the deleted scene was 5 seconds ago. You can use it to alter history. Dramatic meteorology is one rewrite. It's more of a mood thing. You can bring a lightning crash. You can make it start raining. You can make the sun come out. You could do whatever you like. It's dramatic meteorology. I'm a serious actor is when your character starts, it's when you're going to burst into a soliloquy of some kind. But most importantly, it's going to give you bonuses to your social roles for the remainder of that scene, because you take the spotlight when you're a serious actor. I shouldn't be in trash like this. And the final thing is waxing poetical. So it'll be
I
interesting.
hate you for that. I hate you so much for that phrase.
It will
Don't
be.
worry. After this, he'll do it nevermore.
I
Thank you.
hate you too, Rich. Oh my god. Why do I work here?
Thank you all for tuning in. This has been It Came From Beneath the Grave.
Anyway,
just gonna-
sorry. Waxing
Yep.
poetical.
Waxing poetical. So waxing poetical is, and it'll be interesting to see if anyone uses it, because in my playtests, it's one that players are a bit scared of sometimes. It is actually, if you can use it and start rhyming your character's dialogue, you can rhyme with someone else if you particularly want to, essentially speak in verse, or you can do it yourself. You start getting amazing enhancements to what you're doing. It is indeed. It's kind of like breaking into a musical, which I'm sure appeals to you, Dixie. In fact, there is an alternate use of the cinematic in the book that says you can make it try and match up to a tune of the 1970s if you want.
If you knew how much time I spend bursting into random parody songs off the top of my head, like you would not be giving me this option.
This is your thing.
Like I once wrote a parody of Olivia Newton-John's Xanadu about Emrakul from Magic the Gathering in like 5 minutes.
As you know, I have far Xanadu here.
So nerdy.
No, all your training has led to this. Yes.
Yes. It may
And-
save our lives.
Okay, and final thing is what are rewrites? Rewrites are essentially like luck points. They are a form of currency that you will gain by failing. Every single time your character fails a roll, whether that's by choice or just by bad dice rolls, you gain a rewrite to go into your writer's pool. And because I'm feeling generous at the very start of this session, as there are 4 players, you will start with 4 rewrites in your pool. You are already failures just by coming here. But yeah,
For the cheap set and all that sort of stuff, is that something we use up, or is it a pool we can all do those things if we have the rewrites for them?
well, there's 2 different ways to play it, and I think the way we're going to do it is you can use it once, and then if you are able to burn through the rest of your cinematics, all of them will replenish.
I personally can use it once.
No,
the
the
group can use it
group
once.
can use it
There we
once.
go. Okay.
As a general rule, cinematics are, you can confer with other people, can I use cheap set right now? Or you can just snatch it, to be honest. There's nothing anyone can do to stop you.
So we couldn't get a duet going with Waxing Poetical.
Oh, you could, and you'd both get the bonus, but you'd only have to spend 1 rewrite to do it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much, viewers, for sticking with us as we went through the rules and all the preamble. We will now begin. And in fact, what I would suggest is, as part of the introduction, I will cast to each player to introduce their characters. This story is inaccurately named The Haunting of Karnstein House. And our characters, our cast, are all new arrivals at Karnstein House, which, as befits the genre of the time, is perched precariously atop a ridge, somewhere unusually out in the Hamptons, where there aren't that many ridges, but this house is indeed on a ridge overlooking forests and lakes, quite distant from many of the other expensive properties around here. You're not the only individuals to come to Karnstein House on this night, but we will get onto that in a second. All of you received a letter, as so often happens, and that letter, which was marked with a delayed postage notice, read as follows. Dear Inheritor, you may not know me, but for many years I have known you. My name is Luther Karnstein, called by some an eccentric billionaire, but to those of more wisdom, dubbed a master of matters occult. I will soon be dead. The circumstances behind my death are largely immaterial. However, you and others like you are eligible to inherit my entire fortune. All you need do is attend Karnstein House in the Hamptons on this date. My butler will still be in service even following my death. He will tell you all that you need to know. If you believe this letter is a fraud, then check my signature against any number of public records or books I have released, in which my moniker routinely appears. This is no joke. Yours, Luther Karnstein. Now, if that wasn't mysterious, ominous, and the plot of every hackneyed 1970s dark house movie, I don't know what else it could be. Some of you are already familiar with this individual Karnstein. I'm going to go to Rose Thorne first. Rose, Dixie, I should say, what can you tell us about Rose Thorne?
Rose is a hunter of the unnatural. She was raised by other hunters of the unnatural. She is out to avenge her parents who were killed by something unnatural, possibly the devil himself. She is a no-nonsense, tough-as-nails type, but her hair is always perfect, as if in a wind machine.
And you have indeed heard of this Karnstein character before.
Oh,
Your
yes.
family has written about this Karnstein character, or at least his family in turn, known to be monsters, or those that consort with monsters, those that summon them and make them their pets. They're assassins.
The opposite of everything I stand for.
Indeed. So yes, this letter, when it reached you, met you with some interest, no doubt, but also wariness. As you travel to the Hamptons and this house, what do you come tooled up with?
There was probably like a montage sequence before you see her driving where she's just like throwing duffel bags in the trunk of her convertible. Because of course she has like a black convertible because she has to.
Yeah.
And
What's
then
the license plate say?
I didn't think about that.
HNTR.
Yeah, there we go. It says VMP HNTR. She's a vamp hunter. So in the movie version of this, she's rolling up with music blasting and her trunk's full of stuff, hair's blowing in the wind, just does the whole like one boot on the gravel thing, gets out, long pan up by the house. But no, she is she's packed for bear. She's got crossbows, she's got weapons, all the weapons that look like something you could buy at the Ren Fair for like $15. Like nothing looks great. Guns, definitely.
I would like to think that if this movie had any kind of budget as you were getting out of the car, you've got Genie lives on his back playing from your radio. Yeah, exactly. And
it's probably Queen Bitch, actually. I'm gonna go with Queen Bitch.
Yeah. And you turn the dial, stereo goes off. But you aren't alone here in this large, ominous car park. We are accompanied by a mysterious but smooth man by the name of Catabel. Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about this individual?
Catabel's a no-nonsense crime-fighting G from the streets, all right? And I got this letter from some jive turkey saying he wanted looking for somebody like me, but ain't nobody like me, baby. So I'm coming here to see what's going on with this nonsense up here in the Hamptons. Hopefully this ain't some jive mother sucker trying to pull one over on your boy. And I'm up here resting on the hood of my canary yellow Charger, the only woman I will ever love, waiting to see what it is going to happen here tonight. I'm wearing boots. I'm wearing my tight jeans, but, I can still kick in them. Don't get it twisted. My leather jacket with my butterfly collar plunge all the way down to my navel so you can see the scars and scratches of a life spent out taking care of the common man. Can you dig it?
Yes.
I'm glad I didn't have to follow that. I'm so glad I went first.
I want to answer, but I...
Well, people who didn't view this live missed out there. Well, you do indeed arrive, and yes, you did indeed receive the same letter. You've, as an investigating type, you probably looked into this Karnstein character before you just made the journey here. And so, yeah, what you were able to find was he was some kind of occultist involved in some dark practices, lots of rumors sticking to his name, but no crimes ever stuck. For a while, he had some kind of following, almost like a religious order, but that was in the papers about 10 years ago and hasn't been mentioned since. You didn't find any trace of an obituary.
That makes me deeply suspicious. So I come here and I come strapped with my revolver, 45 caliber. It's only got 5 bullets because there wasn't enough room for 6. You dig? And I also got my brass knuckles that I wear on my left hand just in case they get too close. And I gotta, check somebody. But ain't nobody about to become no human sacrifice up in here on my watch. Can't you dig that? All right.
Hearing Catabel basically talk to himself about how he is going to bring justice to this Karnstein house, comes Professor Quincy Wanamaker, whose car, I imagine, is much smaller than the others that have arrived.
What car?
Oh, you walked?
I was left a little further down the road. I walked the rest of the way.
And tell us a little about Quincy Wanamaker.
Well, Quincy believes that magic and superstition are nonsense, and they're all part of science. Not that science eliminates magic and superstition, but that magic and superstition are all part of science. In fact, I might say, I believe occult and science can be melded. I might say that.
You might.
I have a degree.
So, what I would suggest, as you know, you will have quips on your character sheets. First time you're using a quip, for the benefit of the audience and the other players, let everyone know. Now, I know when you're using quips, but Rich is just rattling through all of his.
Well, you know what? I have a degree is the only one you have to.
Yeah.
I think that's not even a quip.
So one thing Wanamaker knows about this Karnstein character is reputation is that he had quite the laboratory set up in his house. Private.
I'm very anxious to see that. I have a briefcase, not a briefcase, but a satchel, long dark coat, hair going in all different directions, dark. He thinks they're cool glasses.
Mm-hmm. And then we have, well, is he really a holy man or is he just a fraud? Father Anthony Tremaine shows up last in the drive. Ian, tell us about Father Tremaine.
Yes, Father Anthony Tremaine would be arriving in a modest car, wearing priest's vestments, a nice black suit, collar. But anyone who pays close enough attention will notice the suit's a little bit too nice. Wearing a jeweled ring, he has product in his hair. Something doesn't feel right about the attire. He doesn't wear it like a holy man. He would, no music, just simply get out of the car and approach. Look up at the castle. Or manor.
Yeah, more of a manor. I mean, some people are probably wealthy enough to build a castle in the Hamptons, but even Karnstein wasn't that ostentatious. It is, however, a very large manor, and is on a cliffside, or cliff's edge.
He did the best he could.
Yeah, with the resources available. You're not the only people here. There's a woman stepping out of a car as well, straightens her hair and her glasses. And there's a rakish fop of a man, You can see, hell, he's dressed pretty much the same way as our smooth investigator, except he is painfully white and has draggly, greasy hair. He looks like a washed-up rocker. Looks a little like a young Sid Barrett on the precipice, and staggers over. Hey, we're all here for the will reading. That's what I'm here for. He adjusts his shades. Nice shades, old man.
Why, thank you. I like them. I think they're cool.
You've probably heard of me. Nolan Moon.
Have I heard of him?
Yeah, have we heard of him? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
It's they call it prog rock.
Sorry, my son. I do not listen to rock and roll.
Heard of.
I listen to it backwards. I try to find the hidden messages that are within the sound, the actual sound itself.
Oh, cool. Like Helter Skelter, yeah.
That was an overt message.
Yeah, whatever. I got this letter. Did all of you get a letter? And the woman steps over. Of course they got a letter. That's why we're all here. I'm Dr. Seward. Dr. Amanda Seward. A therapist.
Pleasure to meet you, Dr. C.
That wouldn't by chance be no kind of physical therapy, would it, Mama?
She looks you up and down, frankly appalled. No, it wouldn't be. Therapy of the mind, the only therapy that is a true medicine.
Oh, I disagree. And I kind of pat my lapel and I say, apologies, Padre. I don't know nothing about the Virgin Mary. The only Mary I commune with is the Mary Jane, and she helps me solve all my problems. Can you dig? All right, can you dig?
Nolan Moon goes for a high five or handshake and really fouls it up. He's
Give him neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you back off, man. Don't be getting your grease all over these threads.
Dr. Seward goes over to Rose Thorne. Dr. Seward.
Rose.
Well, it looks like we're all here for a reason, Rose. And I don't think much of our company. Shall we go to the door?
We're not friends.
I never intimated that we were. I just like to find a common bond with someone. When in unusual places like this, sometimes minds tend to waver.
I don't think we have any common bonds either.
I misread the situation. I apologize.
I'm going to stump up the
Clearly.
steps to the door.
Rose is just gonna just turn heel and walk around to the trunk and start piling things into her purse where no one can see.
Roughly what time of day and what time of year is it?
Oh, I think it's this time of year, but it's about 9 p.m. So
it's dark.
Yeah, it's getting dark.
Ish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have an umbrella. Bang the door with the umbrella.
There is a pull chain beside it, but nevertheless, you bang the door.
Doesn't matter to me.
And of course, naturally, the door creaks open. It's a bit too long. And standing on the other side of it, a tall, thin man, grey hair in a widow's peak, dressed as a butler might. And the words that come out of his mouth are all too predictable. Good evening.
Good evening to you. I'm here for the will reading.
Ah. And he pokes his head out. Is this all of you?
This is the amount that are here now.
How are we supposed to know that?
In time, please enter. And he pulls the door open slightly more, no creak, and gestures for you to enter the house. Please, you may retain your footwear, but leave your raincoats, if you are wearing any, on the hooks.
Umbrella, coat. Take my bag with me.
How many hooks are there for coats?
7.
And there's 6 of us currently, correct?
That is
Total?
correct. That is correct.
I'm making note of that.
It's terribly investigative.
This will be a clue later.
Mhm. Right. No witnesses. Yeah.
Yes.
I keep
Please.
my coat on. Yeah.
Please accompany me to the bar lounge.
I climb the steps and making sure that people can see me, I kind of cross myself inside.
Rose is definitely looking around at everything she can in the house, like trying to see entrances and exits and
Oh, well, this house from the interior, and I should have described it from the exterior as well, encompasses, you think, 4 hospitable stories and a partially collapsed tower on the top. So it's more of a hotel than a home. The interior is spacious. The hallway takes up a larger space and real estate than your home, Rosethorn, and is lined with everything you might expect in a stately manner. There's even a few suits of armor for good measure, and a painting at the far end of the hall, flanked by a staircase that does an inverted U shape around it and goes up to the next floor. There's a sense of clue about it by structure, undoubtedly, but, you know, these kinds of houses have to follow some kind of design. You even have a couple of old chandeliers hanging from the ceiling above you. Yes. Now, perhaps, unlike some of the other homes in the middle of nowhere that you have raided in your hunt for monsters, this place is pretty well kept. While it has the ostentatious decor of a old building, it's clean. There's no cobwebs. There's no moldering tapestries. It all looks kept up to date.
As I'm walking by, I tap on one of the suits of armor and I'm like, if it's anybody up inside any one of those things, if one of these things starts moving, I want you to know I am going to shoot you. Okay? All right. Can you dig? And then I just keep walking after the butler.
Would you be able to take me to the laboratory?
In good time, sir.
Oh, it's good time now.
No, sir. The lounge first, sir. Master's orders.
Oh, all right. Very well.
And so you're taken through to the lounge, and it is bedecked with some very pompous leather suites, a delightful teak bar, and overfilled liquor cabinet. Please, you may help yourself to drinks. I will return momentarily. He leaves and closes the door.
Did he ever tell us his name? Did he ever say his name? Just Mr. Butler, sir?
He did not.
I pour myself a cognac. And does Rose have any visible weaponry? Like, are you clearly carrying weapons?
yeah, why not? Let's make it tropey. She clearly has like the knife strapped to her thigh that like is completely in a useless place and would fall down in real life. And if you look not super closely, she's wearing kind of an oversized leather jacket, but you can see like the barrel of like a shotgun peeking out the bottom. Like it's clear that she's got weapons on her.
And what you drinking, Van Helsing?
I don't drink. Got to keep a clear head.
Well, but it helps calm the nerves. You know what I mean? But all right, zone of safety. How about you over there, Father Christmas or whatever this is? I mean, ain't no priest I ever seen had such a glisten in his dew. But you know, I guess this is a special occasion or whatever.
Oh, well, of course. I have some renown. I am a expert exorcist. That's how I know Karnstein. But no, I do not drink out of the cloth.
I didn't know exorcism paid so well. That ain't no cheap ring you got on. All right. And how about you there, sunglasses? You probably shouldn't drink too much because I know you can't see shit as it is, but maybe you want a little something.
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much for asking.
Well,
Are there books in this place? In the lounge?
There are indeed. It's a small curiosity bookshelf more than a fully stocked library.
Rose immediately starts looking along all the walls and everything for like anything secret entrancy or safes or whatever. She's just inspecting everything, all the exits.
Okay.
I also am look. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. You go ahead first, Dave.
I was just gonna say I'm also looking to see if any of the paintings have those eyes behind them because I've seen Scooby Doo. I know how this works. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna light a cigarette and look at some books.
Okay, well, let's deal with Rose first. And we're going to say essentially all this is going on simultaneously. Rose, you're searching for secret passages, levers, safes, as you say. And what does that entail? Pulling books out of shelves, running hands
just like,
over paneling, that kind of thing?
Pulling on candlesticks, all that, just like see if anything twists weird. I've been in these houses before.
Yeah, you know what's up. You've been through this many times. So let me see. I will just get what I need. Could you make? We're going to go for a roll straight away. Could you make an enigmas? And I think intellect roll, please.
Not my best pool, but we'll go for it. 2 successes.
2 successes, very nice.
Cool.
I'm not giving you any enhancements on this one because everything is as it should be, but 2 successes is actually sufficient to, as you get to the liquor cabinet, you lift up a incredibly full bottle of creme de menthe. Clearly no one in the house has ever had a taste for creme de menthe. And you lift it, and the liquor cabinet goes and turns around in the wall.
Does it take me with it?
No, sadly not. Although you think it could if you were hugging it rather ignominiously. Replacing it it could be a water fountain. It's still got that U shape against the wall, except there's no water flowing. There's a little bowl. There's a little hole in the wall for something. And above that hole, carved into the stone, quite intricate, quite stunning, is what you can only describe as a goat devil face. And it's staring right at you.
Oh, God.
This is happening simultaneously to what's going on with the rest of you. So, Dave. B-Dave.
Do I see that, or am I doing something else when she discovers that?
Now, I'm going to ask you to make a roll of your own. Could you roll your survival and stamina, please? And have a look at your character's trademarks, if you can, on your character sheet. I think you may have one linked to survival.
I have, for me, I have dexterity, empathy, enigmas, and persuasion.
Ah, okay.
I have survival. I'm thinking of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have no points in survival. So is it just my just my stamina?
Just your stamina.
Okay.
As you take a sip of your cognac.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. That is no successes. However, hold on a second here. Let me just take a look here.
Yeah, you do have some cinematics you can use immediately, or you can take the failure and gain another rewrite, which means you'd have 5 rewrites in the pool.
You know what? For the sake of a dramatic tension, I'll let it ride, baby. I want to lure them into a false sense of security, thinking they're gonna get one over on you, boy. All right, so I do not succeed.
You hit the cognac back with a little too much confidence, and it hits your head immediately, faster than a drink of alcohol should. You find yourself staggering and collapsing back onto the sofa next to Nolan, who is likewise drinking the cognac. He says, "Hey, what's And he passes out as well. Now, again, this is all happening simultaneously. So what is Professor Quincy doing? You were looking through books. Was that right?
I was looking through the books, seeing what there's anything. You said it was a curiosity library, and I'm curious as to what sort of books they would have in this library.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll to look through a bookshelf. To be honest, you can just scan the titles on the spines where there are any and pull books out where there aren't and just have a look inside. There's an awful lot here that is written in ancient Greek or just modern Greek as well, which of course you know is the language of medicine.
Yeah.
You are a scientist, a professor after all.
In fact, I could read ancient Greek.
You can. And so leafing through one of these books...
I have a degree.
Thank you very much. As you leaf through one of these books, I'm happy for you to be able to read ancient Greek quite comfortably. You read about all kinds of very unusual experiments concerning longevity, everlasting life. And the unusual thing is, although this is written in ancient Greek, this isn't written in an ancient Greek style. It would be fair to say it's been written by a relatively modern author just in ancient Greek.
Right. Was it printed or written?
This is a written book.
Okay, so more of a journal diary.
Exactly. And Father Anthony Tremaine, what were you doing while all of this chaos was ensuing?
I would have been observing my companions here, probably witnessing some different things going on, but kind of just standing in the middle of the room innocuously.
Yeah, in that case, I think Anthony Tremaine and Dr. Seward were the first to see all of this suddenly happen as the liquor cabinet shifts and the until now utterly composed Catabel collapses onto the sofa. He's seeing stars. He's clearly dizzy. Something is greatly amiss.
Upon seeing the goat head, I would cross myself immediately.
Are you going to aid anyone?
Approach. What sorcery is this?
Now. Sorcery.
Yes.
Just another form of science.
At which point, the butler re-enters.
And we fuck everything up in the first 20 seconds. It's like, what have you done?
Don't remember that. He's come in with a tray of vol au vents, and he drops it. Crash! Why is that on the wall?
Why was that behind the wall?
I have not seen that symbol since Lord Karnstein's father occupied this mansion.
Apparently it didn't leave.
Why is no one seeing to your companion? And he strides over to Catabel and is patting the back of his hand. He's obviously missed. He's completely ignoring Nolan. He starts patting him on the side of the face. Do any of you know medicine? He looks completely like he's fainted. No, he gets the a decanter of water and just splashes it in Catabel's face.
There we go.
Is that enough?
It is. It brings you back round.
No, maybe nobody but you.
Notice this is happening.
Oh.
What happened to him? What happened to him?
Did you drink the cognac?
I mean, yeah, it was there in the wet bar. You said get a drink, so I did. Whew, that hit hard. What is that?
It always was the master's favorite, a very strong vintage. And he looks over at Nolan. He will be out for some time. I suspect no amount of water will help him. Nevertheless, as I have you all assembled and 5 out of the 6 of you are conscious, I will tell you what the master asked for me to convey. Then you will have the night to yourselves, shall we say. Only one of you is due to inherit the vast fortune of Lord Karnstein. Only one. Karnstein believed that in all people belongs a secret. There is a secret, a shame, or a sin to a person. And that if you can confront those things before this night is out, then you take your rightful place as the inheritor of the fortune. Only one will succeed. Clearly not him, he looks down at Nolan. But the rest of you have a night to come to terms with any evil deeds that you have committed.
Take a long look at the others in the room.
Yes, I think if this were a movie, at this point the camera would cut to everyone's faces as they are looking at each other suspiciously and looking down at themselves. Sin? Me? Never.
I don't commit sins. I stamp them out.
Hey, ain't nobody know what I did up in Vegas a couple times, all right?
There's that thing on the wall.
Yes. The master called that Abaddon. Outside, a storm starts. You don't need the dramatic meteorology cinematic for that. That's right, Abaddon.
You said it is an elaborately carved goat?
Face.
A mixture of goat and human. Dr. Seward says, "My, it's terrible. I can scarcely stand to look at it."
Is it, in fact, a carving of Abaddon, as I would understand it?
Oh, good question. Let's do another enigmas and intellect roll, please. I'm going to give you an enhancement here, as you are schooled in matters occult.
Intellect and enigmas, which I think I just saw was 2.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. What did you say we're going for? 8s?
8s and above. 10s are doubles.
8. No 10s. 2 8s and 9. Yeah, 2 8s and a 9.
Okay, with the enhancement as well, I would say you are particularly well versed in such things as the Greek writings on devils and demons, and Abaddon is indeed one such devil or demon, and this carving is indeed a carving of Abaddon's face into the back of a liquor cabinet, which makes it lose some of its dramatic purpose. But if you didn't know the liquor cabinet was on the other side of that wall, it would look very ominous indeed.
This is indeed a carving of Abaddon, but these are tools of superstition and fantasy.
I would like to wax poetical as I'm looking at the carving here.
That was a quip, Matthew.
That was a quip there. People didn't laugh, but I thought it was very appropriate. You can have an additional die to your next roll, Rich.
Oh, thank you, man.
I have realized I put these are tools of superstition and fantasy twice on your character sheet. So
I assumed I would simply just keep saying it.
Yeah.
Let me just check one thing here. Sorry. All right. Okay. I would like to hang on a second here. All right, here we go. So as I'm looking at it, I just say, this is some jive stuff, and I think I've had enough. But I want to win this bread. I just hope we don't end up dead. I just want to leave this house. Just another move in a deadly game of cat and mouse, which also is a quip. So I put right in here of my quip into it. I don't even know what that means, but I did it.
So for the quip, you're going to get an additional die to the next roll you make. So that's nice and simple.
Hey.
For the fact that you were rhyming, I'm assuming you're purchasing the waxing poetical at the same time. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So you're back down to 4 rewrites. What waxing poetical actually allows you to do, if you can pull it off, and you just did, is you can add +1 enhancement to all future rolls for the remainder of this scene, which is a pretty decent bonus.
Hey, and that's why we're in here in this room. Okay.
I should tell you, Lord Karnstein's body has not been recovered, but he seemed assured of his death before it happened. He drove off into the night, drunk, probably on that cognac. And while his very expensive Lamborghini and he went down the crevasse to the east of this building, he is so tightly wedged in the rocks down below, no one has been able to recover, man nor machine.
Yikes.
So for the purposes of the will, he is dead, but legally speaking, not yet.
Butler is first in.
Yes.
I don't think that's how the law actually works.
To be quite clear, my pay stopped the moment Lord Karnstein stopped paying me. Therefore, I'm trying to hurry this along by getting you here, getting the inheritance done so I can leave.
I would like to use my persuasion against the butler. I'm not sure what I need to roll, but basically I want to look at him and I just say, what's your name here, Jeeves?
Jeeves.
I have an insight into human nature, Jeeves. Let me ask you one question. You've been the only one that's been up in here this whole time. You said you knew the man of the house, you knew the grandfather of the house. If there was some weird tomfoolery taking place around here, where would you start looking first, Jeeves?
Well, there are many rooms in this house, Mr. Catabel.
Yeah, one and only.
Probably the laboratory. That's where I think it would make the most sense to look.
Indeed, Professor Wanamaker is correct. The laboratory downstairs is rife with experiments half finished with the Lord's death.
That's the best kind.
However, we also have a voluminous library, a study that the master of the house kept locked even from myself. I have not entered it since his departure. There are the full itinerary will tell you that there are 8 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a kitchen, sizable, dining room, billiards room, naturally, ballroom, among various other rooms that you can explore. But if you were looking into a mystery, Mr. Catabel, I would suggest the study or laboratory. If you're interested in the family history, the mausoleums to the west of the house.
Just one last question here, Jeeves. How long ago he have you put them letters in the mail? These ones we all received.
That was not 2 weeks ago, sir, and he himself died 1 week ago. There is no way a mortal man could survive the events of that dreadful crash.
Indeed. This is the most unnatural kind of death.
It is a quip. A car crash in a crevasse is indeed an unnatural kind of death.
A cognac car crash in a crevasse.
Indeed. You get your additional die, Ian. There's a lot of pressure on Dixie now to get a quip out because everyone else is.
If you don't
Haven't
mind,
been appropriate yet.
if you don't mind, Jeeves, I would like to see the study.
Is there any liquid caking the pipe that was coming out of the underneath the goat face?
Yeah, I was going to say, does that work? Can I make it work? I'm still standing by it.
I will take Father Tremaine to the study if Mr. Catabel wishes to accompany, and the two of you can, of course, search the house at your own, under your own recognizance.
I do, and I'm like, hold on. I think again, we don't need to be out of each other's like eye line. You know what I'm saying? Like at least like y'all two stay together, and I'll stay with him. You dig? And Mama here, that's the therapist. If you want to roll with us, roll with them. And I don't know what's gonna happen to Skinny here. Hopefully, he's just gonna sleep it off.
Well, I think I will stay with Mr. Nolan Moon just in case he wakes up and wants to know where everyone is, but we'll be in here.
All right. Well, you just give like a little yell if like something goes wrong up in here. You know what I'm saying? Because apparently you got like reversing walls and like poison cognac and all that kind of other stuff up in here. Just like keep your eyes open, okay?
Yeah, yes, of course, Mr. Catabel.
No, mister. Just Catabel.
Mr. Catabel will be fine, thank you. Okay, so we're going to deal with the individuals investigating the pipe in the lounge for now. So that would be the professor and our hunter.
Mr. Plum and
Yes.
Miss Scarlet.
So yes, there is a small copper pipe emerging from the wall that, again, reminiscent of a water fountain. And you're looking for caked liquid around it.
I'm trying to see if it's active or if there's a way to make it flip back around.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was water, or was it something far more deadly?
Well, you don't know if it was deadly, but judging from the color stains in the little well of the sink beneath it, my, that could have been blood.
Oh, let's see.
Yes, definitely blood. Now that you've tasted it.
Definitely blood.
No roll required there. Rose, you see the professor next to you taste the blood caked in the sink.
Probably shouldn't be eating that.
Caked blood.
That's wonderful. You're going to
I have now proven that scientifically.
You're also going to prove that you're going to get hepatitis.
No. Never gotten it before.
Dixie.
I thought you had a degree.
I do. Not a degree in hepatitis.
Dixie, so you're going to be, much as you were before, searching for a secret panel, a way to make this spin around.
Yeah, I'm going to be like kind of hugging towards it because I want to see if there's a passage or something cool behind it. So I'm going to be messing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get it turned back around.
Are you prepared to run your hands over the face of Abaddon?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. In that case, let's go for...
It's just the back of a liquor cabinet, right? You said it was less scary than it should be.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to make you roll for that. It's easy to run your hand over the face of Abaddon. I mean, it's only Abaddon.
Stay away from the mouth.
Yep, we've played that game before. And so, yeah, you move your hand from the horns to the top of the head, to the eyes, to the bulbous nose. And as you push the bridge of the nose, it starts rumbling and moving back slightly more slowly than it came around. You could duck through before it has gone the full way.
I'm doing it.
Okay. Professor Wanamaker, you see Rose Thorn skip through this liquor cabinet opening before your very eyes. Are you going to follow?
Is there room/time to do so, or should I let it close and open it again?
There is room/time if you do it now, but you have to do it now.
I'll jump with my little jumpiness.
Okay. As you jump through, a load of bottles clatter and crash off. You have less elegance and speed than Rose Thorn Professor Monster Huntress. Maybe your lab coat gets caught in the gears. Either way.
Here we go, lab coat.
It crunches.
A tweed jacket.
Sorry, it is the 70s. Yes, you've got a tweed jacket with lovely elbow pads.
Mustard-colored tweed jacket.
Yeah. And the two of you find yourself in a very dark room. Now, we will cut back to you in a second. Meanwhile, Father Tremaine and Catabel are making their way across the ground floor toward where the study happens to be, or at least where Jeeves tells you the study is. And he doesn't say anything else to you. But could you make a, let's see, Father Tremaine, could you make an empathy and cunning roll, please?
Absolutely. That would be successes.
2 successes. The butler looks nervous. Or you can see his hands are behind his back as he walks, and they are shaking. Catabel, you mentioned earlier that you were looking for paintings with moving eyes, and while there wasn't anything like that in the study, you are taken by the great portrait hanging in the main hall as you cross it. And it's large, it's impressive, and those eyes do seem to transfix you as you walk by. It is like they follow you around the room. The studies, sir?
Yes.
Sirs?
I do just, well, one, who is the painting of? Does
do you approach it?
I do just sort of like put my hand on the Exorcist here, and I just say, hey, you looking up at that painting? You know, like I've been to the Met a couple of times in my life, and you know, you walk around and sometimes seem like them eyes following you, like that uncanny valley or whatever it be. But like, look at that. Like, I feel like it's like looking, and I sort of like move away from him to see if its eyes follow me.
And
The eyes
take a look at the painting as well.
The eyes do not follow you, but they aren't centered. They're not looking at directly down the hallway. They are slightly toward where you were before Catabel called it out.
No. Hey. Now, hold on. Wait. No. You're not gonna give me one of those. Okay, all right, hold on. How far up the wall are the eyes of this painting?
Farther than you can reach. It's about 15 feet.
I ain't gonna just like mess up no fine art by like throwing no dust on it or something. But I want you to know I see you, sucker. I see you.
Indeed, sir. The painting doesn't flinch.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I walk like slowly back. I do make a note of what color the eyes are, though, on the painting.
A pale blue.
And the face, does it presumably I'm not sure of the state of microfiche technologies in the 1970s. Was I able to like pull a newspaper about this guy? Do I have any idea what the man of the house looked like? Do I have any idea what Luther Karnstein's face would have like? Would I know that's him just looking at it, or not him? Or
that's the big mystery of Luther Karnstein. For all his work on the occult, for all of his expounded literature and supposed ties to criminal activities, you have found no photographic evidence of the man. But this is a portrait of who you assume is the master of the house. It's he's a handsome man. It's small, pale eyes, a small mustache.
2 follow-up questions. Does this man look anything like Jeeves, and does he look anything like Nolan?
He does.
It's almost like you've seen these films
Get
before.
those house cliches out.
I'm like, hold on, I'll be right back. Click, click, pow.
Well.
Right.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Donate to charity.
Hey,
It was a wonderful 40-minute game. Thank you.
What I know and what the dice know are often very different. Trust me, I'm not my first rodeo. But I am. Look, is there any sort of resemblance between Jeeves and that kid?
No, there is
okay.
not. But it was a good leap, enough for me to award you a rewrite, I think, because that was good horror movie logic. So we're back up to 5 rewrites.
Hey, All right, but I sort of warily, sort of like every once in a while, I am seeing if it's but I do give it one of these before we go into the study.
Before we go into the study, I'll excuse me, Jeeves.
Yes, sir.
Typically, I've been present for several will readings. Priest, a lawyer would be.
He looks you up and down. As a priest, sir.
Indeed. I just stare him down. Typically, there would be a lawyer present to read the will. Now, I would be curious to know if Mr. Karnstein has left you anything in it.
I doubt it, sir. The solicitor is due to arrive tomorrow morning once there is only one of you remaining.
Ah. Understood.
He said ominously.
Catabel is like, I mean, like, what you mean? Like, we just gonna go home or whatever, right? Like, I mean, like one person left, right?
Ominously yet casually.
Yes, very much so. After I'm done murdering all but one of you.
And that's the moment that Catabel slips the brass knuckles over his left hand. Presume they're on my left hand for the remainder of the evening. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, and then proceed to, when my associate is done, Father Tremaine here, just into the study.
The study is a well-appointed room with statues in all 5 corners. There is a beautiful mahogany desk with written work still on it, unfinished. And as Jeeves pointed out, he had to unlock it to enter. And he did say earlier he has not been in here since the master of the house departed. There's a fireplace at the far end. There's some paintings around the room as well, and a few books here and there, but this looks more like a place for contemplation. You can see from markings on the walls that there have been objects hung in here, just judging from the positioning of nails and screws, maybe even a cross once upon a time, but it's not here anymore. There's a smell of dry old soot in this room. The rug on the floor is naturally circular.
I, without saying a word, just go straight to the fireplace, and I want to put my hand inside and feel if there's like a lip or a rim inside of it, if there's anything like just inside the fireplace where I can reach.
As in, so you're going to be reaching under and sort of up the chimney, as it were.
Yeah. See if kind of like there's a lip, if there's anything. I'm like, I done busted up my fair share of crack houses, and oftentimes they hide like keys and some of the things up in there. I'm just seeing if this is human behavior is quite predictable. Can you dig?
Yeah, you're a bit conscious that your voluminous cuffs are going to get a bit dirty, but it's part of the risk. And so you tap, and your hand comes into contact with something. No, your hand comes into contact with something soft, and you think that's hair. Stiff hair. Do you recoil?
No, I ain't no chump. But is it something I can retrieve?
So you put your hand around it.
I do just say, Father Anthony, right? Tony. Is something hairy in here? I'm praying to little baby Jesus. It's just like dead rat or something. You know what I'm saying? But if you're gonna send one of them Hail Marys, like this might be the time for it. And then I do try and grab whatever it is.
I will cross myself and I'll say, a Hail Mary for it.
Okay, well, before we find out what that is, we're going to go to the other two. And Ian, there is a message in the chat awaiting you. Okay, so over in the dark room, and indeed...
Is this pitch black?
It's There's a low red light. So when I describe it as a dark room, that is quite literally what it is. It's a room for the processing of photographs.
Oh, excellent.
But it's very dim, and it's cold, it smells dank in here. But you can see the workings of a photography studio as well, just through that dim crimson light. Upright, a table with some trays of processing fluid and some photographs hanging on a couple of strings across the room. You can't see any other doors in or out from here.
I want to go over to the photography processing stuff and see if I can make out what's in any of the pictures or if there's anything still like developing in the chemicals right now.
There are indeed some photographs in the processing chemicals, but it looks like they've been here for quite a while and have just completely melted, pretty much, come apart. The ones that are hanging are processed. They've come through, but in this light, you can't see them very well at all.
Reach into my satchel and pull out a flashlight.
I was going to say, now that I'm sure that we're not going to fuck up any that are in the process, go for it.
I was used to click things on 70s there. Flashlight's built.
As you turn the flashlight on, you're able to see that not only is this red light coming from these 3 bulbs in the ceiling, but the walls themselves are lacquered with a scarlet paint. It's really quite a bright hue when you shine the light on it. And casting it around a little, even the processing fluid has a thick red appearance. The photographs that are hanging from the string, they're of all of you in situations that you may have found yourselves a few weeks or months ago. You can recognize them, the 2 of you, where you might have been. In terms of you, Professor, it's one moment where you were, in fact, that time when you were kicked out of the club for your dangerous assumptions.
Mad. They called me mad.
Unethical experiments. You, when you were laying crumpled in a heap on the pavement, someone's captured that on celluloid, I guess, and it's just hanging there. And as for you, Rose, you have no idea how this photograph exists, because it shows you just probably in the minutes before you took out a young feral vampire. Probably one of the biggest kills you've had to your name since your entire family went the way that your family did, since you completely lost all of your family's backup. You took out that feral vampire 1-on-1, and you didn't tell anyone. You had to prove it to yourself that you could do it. But here someone is, snapping a shot of you.
Are there any obvious exits to the room?
None are obvious, no.
Okay, so I'm going to take down all the pictures so I can show them to everybody else and just shove them in my bag. I have a big fringe giant purse. I'm just going to say, oh my God, you've been spying on us. Just watching.
Not only that.
Waiting. That's a clip.
Have your extra die, Dixie. I appreciated it.
Lick the liquid that's in the developer then.
Don't eat that.
Yep, definitely blood again.
Blood again!
It's like having a dog.
But it's a different type of blood. Somehow you're enough of a blood sommelier. So, be positive. No, it's contaminated with something. It's got an acrid taste. It's still liquid.
Potentially, photographic fluid.
Yeah, it's still, but that's the unusual thing. It's still liquid. You would assume if this had been here 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whenever Karnstein disappeared, it should have clotted over by now, regardless of whether it was mixed with development fluid.
I'm going to start watching the professor very closely for signs that he may be some kind of vampire-human hybrid, of which I am not currently aware.
We need to examine this from a scientific perspective, I think.
By tasting everything?
Well, that's just one scientific method. What's important is the photographs of all of us
That are in my bag right now.
from weeks ago
Mm-hmm.
that were developed in this red room, in this solution of blood.
Well, we don't know that. The solution of blood could have been put in there after these were developed. That's not a logical leap that you should be making. Are you sure you have a degree?
This is, well, you cannot shake my belief in logic. And I can see the leaps here. Yeah.
Wait, so your logic is telling you that these were definitely developed in blood, as opposed to probably developed beforehand, and now there is blood here.
That's one possible suggestion for this. The other suggestion is that this entire room filled with blood and then drained out through that pipe out into the other room where they had buckets up, where they were gathering it. But that seems a little far-fetched to me.
Yes, it does. Okay. Maybe we should not split up with the others. I'm honestly not sure that Luther Karnstein is dead at this point.
No, that was a pretty specious sort of death moment there. No body found, can't get down to the body. Easy enough to push your car over a cliff. Do we want to look to see if we can find any other exits from this room?
I mean, we can look around this room all we want. I didn't see any at first, but...
Secret panels.
Yeah. Well, Rose, you do what you do so well, and that is looking for secret panels in walls. And it does
my
seem...
entire character now.
They call me the panel finder.
Surprise, secret werewolf. Ka-chow. Yep. Mhm.
I've got something for that.
You make your way around the room, and as with the development fluid, there's a wet Icarus feeling to everything. It's tacky as you put your fingers to it. And you're definitely you're getting it covered in brown and red.
I don't even feel the need to lick this.
I don't. Yeah, and please don't lick my hands. Please don't do that.
No. I would lick the wall, and I'm not gonna.
Okay. I'm just gonna go back out the way we came in, unless you've got a better idea.
If you can't find a panel, only one question I have: is there a grating in the floor in any way?
There is indeed. There's also one in the ceiling.
So my little idea of the blood-flooded room perhaps isn't so insane after all.
Literally no one said that but you.
Oh, they've said it. Does it look like that we had blood flowing out the drain?
Judging from the coating on every other surface in this room, yes.
Mm-hmm. This is a dark room in more ways than one.
Very good. If that wasn't a quip, it should have been, and it isn't.
No, I'm just writing dialogue for Hammer Films.
Yeah. As you are both going to exit via the cocktail cabinet again, when the cocktail cabinet shifts around and you make your way through,
mm-hmm.
It's like everything behind you flickers and blurs and flashes, and then the wall is shut.
Which is facing out now into the salon? The cocktail or the goat head?
I believe, mathematically speaking, it should be the goat head.
You want to
wait? So, are you saying that we got out in the lounge and then it did that, or are you saying that
as you were passing through into the lounge,
right.
It's like as you had one foot on one side, one foot on the other, but it was moving so that you couldn't stop. Behind you, everything started getting a bit weird and wobbly.
But now we're back in the lounge and it's not weird and wobbly.
Yep.
Okay.
The lounge itself is not weird and wobbly. The
Got
dark
it.
room was.
Got it.
So
Sorry,
if you
making
press
sure.
if you press it again, I wonder what would be in there.
I
Just press it, and when it goes by, I'll just try to hold it.
okay.
The
okay,
fountain starts a spit, and then a spurt, and then a flow of this thick red
cool.
blood.
Are you gonna taste it?
I don't think I think we could smell the iron smell.
You can indeed.
Press the button.
Fine. She presses it and takes a big step back.
You probably should have taken a larger step back. I'm going to point out a few things to you at this point.
Yeah. that's what I thought.
As a lot happens at once, you realise, the both of you, that having re-entered the lounge, that neither Dr. Seaward nor Mr. Moon are here anymore.
Bum, 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 bum.
I know. I thank you for the shocked face, David. It's so authentic.
I am shocked. Not that shocked.
But before you can comprehend that fully, as the cocktail cabinet tilts and twists, out comes a gush, a torrent of this thick blood. Bloody blood pouring from the dark room.
Run!
Not quite as dramatic as The Shining, mind you. It's more like an ooze that seeps towards you at speed and connects at waist height and flows into the lounge. It's horrifying. It's sickening. It's blood, and it's coating you from foot to navel. Meanwhile, in the study. Now, before we do that, let's take a bio break now, as we've just reached the halfway mark. So we can have a quick 5-10 minute break while people recharge their glasses.
And come back to my hand being cut off and my blood being pumped out into the fountain over in the other room. I'm like,
It's all one system.
You knew.
I've
Who
completed
knew?
the circuit, curses.
Yeah, and who would
Wait,
have,
that's the smoothest blood I've ever seen.
yeah, and who would have expected that your character would have had 10 times the amount of blood in his body than any human should, but enough to fill a room.
Magic.
Magic. All right.
All right. Yeah, we come back as drama unfolds. In one wing of the house, a flood, a torrent, a ready flow of thick crimson. On the other, a slightly thinner flow of blood, but still a flow of blood nonetheless. As we can recap that Catabel was bravely or foolishly reaching up into a chimney where he could not see, and put his hand in contact with something, without trying to sound too smutty, stiff and hairy. And, and whatever it was,
Big and bouncy.
So whatever it was, it bit him.
Oh no!
Yes, it bit him on the hand between the thumb and the forefinger.
Mm.
Yeah, the teeth digging in on both sides. Do you wrench your hand back into the study?
Yeah, because that was the only thing I felt up there, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
It's still on you. It's a bizarre, haired and yet scaled, lizard-like creature with bat-like wings, small and yet strong and tough, and digging needle-like teeth into your hand as you wave it.
You might recall I said I have my brass knuckles on, so I put my hand on the floor and proceed to just like smash this thing. I did say my brass knuckles were on my left hand.
He's just a dragon puppy.
Yeah. Nope. I worked this thing.
Good God, man! What is that?
Amidst a prolific stream of obscenities. Yes.
Yes, you pound this gremlin into mulch. I'm not going to make you roll for that. Needless to say, it bites into you and manages to tear through a good thick gobbet of flesh before you manage to pound it into mulch. Now, just to get on to injuries briefly, in that they came from games, just a mechanical thing. You might see on your character sheet that there's 5 different levels of injury, from just a flesh wound all the way through to death scene. You do not need a death scene at this point. Simply, you have taken 2 dots of damage on just a flesh wound. Once that fills up, you will get +1 to various rolls that I will tell you. Because in they came from, the closer to death you get, the better you get at things, because it's more dramatic.
I just look at it and I'm like, now that's just another move in a deadly game of cat and mouse.
Or whatever that is.
Which is a quip.
Yes. a quip that you have used twice now. So when you want, you can apply 2 additional dice to a roll.
I just say, I'm like, now, Jeeves, is some other like horrifying hell monsters hidden up anywhere else in this place you might want to mention to us?
Jeeves is no longer with you. At some point when you started sticking a hand up the chimney and Father Tremaine entered as well, Jeeves just left the study and the 2 of you to your own investigation.
All right, Father Tremaine. Next time I see Jeeves, I'm slapping the shit out of him, okay? All right, okay.
While I wouldn't normally condone violence, I approve. Now, where did that old bad butler get to?
I realize I would have inflicted significant damage on this creature, but I do whatever's left, because it is a blunt weapon. I do want to see, is there any sign that it was like stitched or fabricated, or is it just some sort of horrible animal?
It is just some kind of horrible animal, the likes of which you've never seen. A cross between a bat and a lizard is the best way to put it.
Can I
go ahead, sorry.
Can I take a closer look at it? Maybe inspect it?
By all means, you can indeed. So, Mr. Mystic, let's go for enigmas and intellect, please. This may be the first story path game where enigmas has been rolled 3 times in 2 hours. There isn't always about athletics and integrity.
I actually am pretty good at enigmas and intelligence too, so I don't know if there's a help action and if I can look as well, because I mean I am pretty good at that.
Yes, definitely. You can make a roll as well. You can basically assist.
Okay. I forgot to roll my extra from my quip earlier. I have 3.
Yeah, I'm rolling my.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You can those dice now, or you can save them to later. Up to you.
1 success.
1 success. Okay, 1 success for Catabel. 3 successes for Tremaine. Catabel. I mean, there's a complication here, and that this creature is purely paranormal. You've never seen anything like it before. You wouldn't have the slightest idea of what it is, and so with a single measly success, you go back to this is some crossbreed between a lizard and a bat.
Ain't seen no kind of like chimney dwelling dirty lizard monkey rat thing. The hell, sharp teeth though.
Almost exactly like that. But Tremaine, I mean, you're a charlatan, but that doesn't mean
you don't know some stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you don't know some stuff. And you remember once when you used to travel with a circus, back when you were starting your charlatanry, they had a tent, especially for oddities of the natural world. And in one of those cages in that tent that used to scare the children to high heaven when they were taken around, and the circus master would say, "Behold, the imp of Achachacha." This looks very close to the imp of Achachacha. Or what's left of it. It's difficult to get a perfect facial recognition here.
I have seen a creature like this before, sir.
Could you tell him what it's called?
It is the creature of Akakaka. But I will not meddle in the black arts, do you understand? I will have no truck with this monstrosity. That was a quip.
Yes.
Now, to be clear, our trademarks are used in what context? I apologize.
You will gain, if you can basically roll the skill next to that trademark, whilst either in the way that the trademark describes, which can be quite nebulous, or if you can make a quote to that effect whilst doing so, you gain 2 additional dice, but you can only do it once per game.
When he tells me that, do I have the necessary accoutrement to start a fire in that fireplace?
Yeah, there's tinder, there's some lighters beside the fire lighters. That is not like a big pile of cigarette lighters. That would be unusual.
Hey, look, Padre.
He's got to have something to light his
Mary Jane.
It's true. It's true. I do a little something there. I'm like, hey, look, Padre, I don't know how many more of them things have been there, and I only got 5 bullets in one hand. Okay, can you dig? So I'm gonna just smoke them bitches out. Go ahead and set the fire and make sure the flue.
5 bullets in one hand.
I will hand you kindling.
Yeah, right. Make sure the flue is open and set a fire. So if there's anything else in there, hopefully it smokes them out.
You indeed can hear that.
That's where they got their name from.
That's awful. It's awful. Skin crawling. And I look for something in this room, because I'm not going to further sully these threads, to try and bandage my hand with first and foremost. I actually look and make sure it's not like poisonous, or like, is there like, did teeth break off in it? Like, I mean, anything other than I've just been bitten.
All of the above. You do indeed have. But bear in mind, it was clamped to your hand when you started beating it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, most of its jaw is still stuck in your hand, and your hand is already turning a deep purplish color around the wound.
Oh, man. I hope I get enough bread to be able to pay for some medical treatment on this shit. And I, not being a doctor, try and pick the teeth and jaws out and just bandage it the best that I can.
Yeah, you have no skill with medicine, and unfortunately, Father Tremaine isn't much better. No, in fact, he is equally as bad. So, yeah, it's meatball surgery time.
Maybe that cute physical therapist will be able to help me when we get back up in there with her. But in the meantime, let's just try and continue on the mission here. What else we got up in here?
Yeah, What is in the study besides creatures?
Beside the imps of Achacha. The screaming continues, of course, or the Achachachas from the chimney do not abate.
Good. I do
Sons of
take the
bitches.
time. I do take the time to yell various curses and obscenities like up the chimney as I hear them.
After a second,
but I do
remember
not
to
poke.
cross myself when you swear.
Exactly.
One of the
Mhm.
imps comes crashing down. Soot flies out as you're leaning in because of your hubris. Mr. Investigator Catabel. As you lean up and give the imps what for in insults, the one that comes crashing down sends a mask of soot into your face. But while this is going on and you're having to suffer such ignominy, we have, of course, Father Tremaine, who is searching the study. There's a lot of interest in here, but probably of most interest is the letter on desk.
Who is it addressed to?
The inheritor, much as the letter that you received.
Pick it up and I'm going to open it.
Well, it's not even in an envelope. It's there, laid out flat for you to read.
I will... And ignore the commotion coming from the fire.
Yes.
He's doing something.
Like the background scene.
There's just this really serious, like zooming in on you reading the letter while in the background he's just like running back and forth like a cartoon.
Beating the things flying.
We definitely know who the comic relief is in this group, and it's amazing.
It says, "Dear Inheritor, if you are reading this letter, you have passed my first gauntlet. You have entered the locked study. There are many more troublesome encounters for you within this house, and you must survive them all if you are to stand a chance of inheriting my fortune. Atop that, there can be only one inheritor."
Bum, 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 bum.
Once again, the camera cuts to Father Tremaine looking at Catabel. Catabel probably not looking at Father Tremaine.
I'm going to quickly fold the letter and stick it in my internal jacket pocket next to the flask I have there.
Okay, as you do so, we're going to go back to the flooded lounge. Thankfully, the bloody sea does not just keep coming. Do you just run out of the lounge and into the main hall? Or,
Yes.
Yeah, I assume you're not sticking around to test for depth, although you are a
No,
scientist.
I'm holding my satchel and running.
Yeah, exactly. Just like trying to get everything above the level of it.
And you close the door behind you?
Yes.
Sure.
Mhm.
If it stands up.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? As you enter into the hall, slam the door behind you, of course, back against the door to hold it shut just briefly. And you can actually hear it. You can hear the thick churn of whatever the hell is going on behind you. And you see a door upstairs close. Well, you hear it close, and your eyes are drawn up towards it. You can also hear and from across the hallway.
Well, I want to go find out. Are we still dripping blood, by the way?
You are. You haven't used the costume change cinematics.
I was gonna say, can we like use that as a twofer on both of us? Is that possible? Like as it cuts from us running like into the study, like can we just like be clean?
Yep. Come back in and we're all clean.
Yeah, because if you didn't, I would have imposed complications for being thick with blood.
Okay. So I'm going to. We're down to 2 rewrites. Yes.
Yep. So you are now down to 3 rewrites because you had been bumped up to one, bumped up by 1.
Okay.
So yes, costume change as you run into the study because you gainfully decide that you're better off as a complete group. You are now in immaculate clothing, perhaps even different clothing than you were before. For instance, Professor Quincy Wanamaker, who is wearing a delightful green and brown tweed before, is now wearing a green and red tweed.
Mm-hmm. And an orange shirt.
Yeah.
My leather jacket has gone from black to oxblood. Everybody's like, what? Got stained.
Unfortunately, the movie's prop department only has enough money for one gun, so you're still holding the same gun.
I'm gonna run in with my gun out because I heard all the sounds.
The high-pitched is dying out now. There's been a lot more crumps and thuds into the fireplace, and hell, even the two of you can see these strange bat-like creatures rolling out, deceased at this point, and Catabel clutching his bleeding hand.
Ooh,
whilst
what
covered
happened there?
I should note the costume change does not apply to Catabel. And you've used it now.
Yes.
That's all right. I still look good.
Well, let me take a look at that. What happened to you?
Well, since I don't know whether or not they've got any sort of medical training, I'm all like, these little things here got some pretty sharp teeth. Can you dig? That's why I had to set them all on fire.
Oh, absolutely. Sure, but I have a degree. I can help you.
I don't know if it's a degree in bitology, but okay, I'll let you take a look.
It's not a degree in hepatitis.
But I thought you got I thought you got hepatitis through a work study. You know what I'm saying, Mama?
Let's take his crude bandages off there.
Right. I do let him take a look. I don't know if he knows anything. So,
yeah, what he knows is dubious, but I will allow the good professor to make a medicine intellect roll. In fact, because you used the I have a degree trademark so many times, and I actually linked it to command as a way of garnering attention and respect. But of course, degrees don't do that in real life, so why should they in this?
I did use it that way in terms of saying, let me see your hand.
Exactly. And I think used it well, but I'm going to give you the 2 additional dice for your medicine roll because you used that trademark well.
All right. And you say intellect and medicine?
Intellect and medicine, yes, please.
All right. 2 dice for that. And intellect, I get 4 dice for that. All right. 1. Oh, a 10. So you say 10s are 2?
10s count as 2 successes,
Right,
yes.
so that would be 3 successes. And then a bunch of 7s. You didn't try hard enough.
Nope. It's not a degree in medicine, unfortunately. And so, despite that, 3 successes is damn good. And you're able to ascertain very quickly that he has an infected bite. Your medicinal knowledge isn't necessarily up to date, or shall we say, what you might find in medical textbooks, but you have it on good authority that if you've got a recently infected bite like that, some chewed up tobacco on the wound is a good way of extracting the venom. Thank you very much, Broken Golem, watching this on Twitch, because we've stolen your idea.
It's also a callback to last night's They Came From Beneath the Sea. There was a whole bit about it.
Oh, and I happen to have cigarettes, so there you go.
Yeah, so you start chewing. You're literally chewing your cigarettes.
The tobacco part.
Okay.
These little pieces, I hate those. Get them on there. Reach into my satchel, pull out an actual bandage roll, and wrap some of that around it. Anyone have a knife?
Do I have a knife?
You just get it right there.
All that
in.
knife.
Yeah, it's like it's a blade. It's ridiculous looking. It is definitely a movie prop and not a good dagger.
Too many angles.
Yeah, it's got like weird serrated bits that make no sense in an actual fighting way. Yeah. But it does cut through a bandage.
Have I ever seen those little impy dudes before?
I'm going to say yes. You've heard about them, although, of course, you describe them as something, a part of the natural world. There's no place in geography called Achachachacha, but they could just as easily be creatures native to the deepest part of the Amazon. And it may just be that very few people from outside the Amazon have come into contact with them.
There have been strange things found deep, deep, deep in dark places.
Now, question: have I studied these with all my parents' journals and teaching growing up and everything?
Your parents actually wrote some journals about the imps and the warlocks of Achachachach. Indeed, warlocks, summoners, masters of imps.
These are a warlock's tools. These are not here of their own accord.
Oh, these are tools of superstition and fantasy.
If you think the warlocks of Akakaka are simply a superstition or fantasy, you do not deserve to live.
I
You
repeat,
certainly won't survive
these are
going
tools of superstition and fantasy.
I gave you the quiz. I gave you.
I know. I'm going for a twofer.
You're just being insistent now.
That definitely escalated quickly, but either way, thank you, Professor. It was Professor Quincy, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I owe you one. Presumably, my hand, while still bitten, feels a little bit better, or?
Yeah, amazingly so. You never knew of the curative nature of chewed up tobacco before now, but hell.
Pretty good. Good.
Oh, no, again, I'm intimately familiar with the healing properties of all sorts of leaves, all right? Can you dig? I believe it. Okay. In fact,
that's an interesting question, actually.
But to say, I'm having a tough day. So while I'm investigating in here, because I would continue to look in this room, I do in fact twist up though while we're because I'm like, nah, that's enough of this. There's demon monkey things that have bit me. I'm poisoned. No, forget all this. I don't know what's happening. So I do go ahead and light that up while I'm looking.
Reach in my jacket, pull out my notebook and my pen, and write up. Investigate the curative properties of marijuana leaves in poison healing.
It's what's called a jazz cigarette in the trade.
So is enigmas in what is it? Investigative abilities covered by enigmas?
Yes, I would say so. Enigmas, yes. Enigmas and usually intellects if there's something in particular you're looking for. Cunning if you're just kind of doing a scan around the room.
Question.
I would sort of look for. I'm gonna do more the general scan because I'm trying to see what else is in here and get some idea what our next move is. So I had one dice from the quip.
You did.
And I got 2 dice from something else, I think you said.
You actually had 2 additional dice from your quip because you had used it twice. So that was it. So yeah, you get +2 to your enigmas and cunning roll. And then we'll go to Father Tremaine, who had something he wanted to do.
The letter that I found that I hid said the locked study. I'm gonna go try the door after they came in.
It is indeed locked.
Bum 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 bum.
Gasp.
Now, did you roll any successes on 8s and above, Catabel? 2 successes.
2.
Okay. 2 successes. There's something beyond the obvious, what you've just encountered. There's something threatening about this room. Something, it looks like it was designed for someone to be trapped here. Someone not to leave here. Yes, that's right. Look, the windows that lead outside, they've got bars on them. And the walls, you're not sure whether it's the venom, whether the tobacco just hasn't drawn all of it out, but you feel like this room is oppressive. No, it's not that the walls are coming in. It's that the heat, the temperature in this room is rising, and not just because of the fire that you've lit. No, not just that. It's rising from the walls. You put your hand up to one of them. Ooh, it's hot to the touch. It's like you're baking alive in this study of torment.
Y'all, they got us in some kind of jive oven. I come over and I lift the round carpet in the middle of the room and see if anything's under it.
There was a desk on top of it, but you can do the magician's trick of hey, and the desk is still standing.
Or try to, yeah. But I do call out my observation that it's like an oven, and I try and look under the rug.
Bad.
I'll be like, and we are locked in.
And as if to compound the danger of the situation, you hear a scream from somewhere else in the house. Everything is happening.
I believe ain't no lock been constructed that can withstand the ferocious firepower of this here firearm. And I would like to call upon our cheap set to see if I can shoot the lock off the door and break the door for us to get out.
So while under the rug there is indeed a trap door, I like the idea of this because
it's literally what I was going to do.
Basically pulled the rug out and then went, to hell with it.
Yes. And yes, you've pulled the rug out from under the plot, but that's okay. That's why cinematics like cheap set exist. So you use those 2 rewrites. You have no more rewrites until you start failing your rolls either willingly or inadvertently. And so
I do feel like I would look at it and I see the trap door and I'm all like, no, to hell with that. Click, click.
Dixie.
You did say a second ago that we had 1 left after the costume changed. We should have,
So you started with 4.
I said we had 2, and you said we had 3. Okay. Fine.
Oh, sorry, that's my mistake. Either way, I don't think you have any left now.
Okay.
So yes, lock gets blown. I'd like to picture both of you just bam, bam, bam at the door. But if you want to leave it to Catabel to blow the lock off, that's absolutely fine too. What would Rose do?
I don't know at this point, honestly. Everything I keep trying to do, someone else does. So I'm just going to have to rethink this character a little bit. Sorry.
That's all right. The door flies open into the hall just as the heat grows too intense. And you all go rolling out, I assume? All right, I'm going to cast to Rose first, if that's okay. You're in the main hallway. The temperature is dropping quickly. You can see blood oozing out from under the lounge door on the other
let's not
side.
go back there.
You can see the furnishings and paintings on the wall in the room you just left starting to just catch a light from the heat, the intense heat inside. Mm-hmm. The front door is looking very appealing, but there may be more monsters here, Rose. What do you want to do?
Does it look like the house is about to catch on fire?
No, you think it's probably contained to that room. Judging from the structure of this house, everything seems pretty neatly divided by thick stone walls. Whatever is causing the heat in there seems to have concentrated it, and it would be unusual for that fire to spread.
Darn. Okay, I'm going to go after where I heard the scream then, wherever I thought that was.
Okay, could you make a... I keep making people roll enigmas. So hell with it. Let's go for either enigmas or empathy and cunning. See whether you can pinpoint exactly where the scream came from.
You said empathy and cunning?
Yeah.
Okay. I cannot.
You cannot?
No.
Okay, well that means you get a rewrite for your trouble. Everyone feels like it came upstairs, but you just don't know where upstairs it came from, and there's lots of rooms.
When we ran past, didn't something happen upstairs, Rose?
Yeah, door shut.
You could pinpoint that door.
Okay. Well, run towards that door.
Okay, so you ascend the staircase, and there's a landing that overlooks the main hallway, which you assume this would be the second floor, and doors dotted along, each of a different color, each padded with a sort of plush velvet exterior, studded. And the one in the center, you think that's the one that slammed shut earlier. Going straight to open it, charging in. Okay. Rose not taking any more shit from this house.
you, door.
Dumbass house.
Opens the door. What you're confronted with, Rose, is a large ballroom. It stretches far back. There's another 2 chandeliers in the ceiling. There's draped curtains all around. There's even a little bandstand stage at the very end of the ballroom. But most startling is one of the people with whom you arrived, Mr. Nolan Moon, is laying there in the middle of the floor, prostrate.
Is he on his back? Is he on his stomach?
He's on his stomach.
Okay. I'm gonna run over and check for a pulse.
There is no pulse.
I'm going to roll him over.
Okay.
You have to have the dramatic rolling over of the body in a horror movie.
You do indeed. As you roll him over, camera, zoom in, and then to you, and then back to him, and we can actually see that goat man's face from earlier has been carved into his chest. Now, in reality, such a wound would probably not kill someone, but he's dead.
Does everybody follow me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
Everyone else stumbles in just as you turn the body
And it's
over.
freshly carved into his chest. This is something he had done years ago.
No, this isn't an old tattoo. This is a new carving.
Actually, when they are going in, I do wait a second outside just to make sure the door doesn't like slam and lock or like somebody's pursuing us. So when they run in, I do kind of like, I have my gun in my hand now. I'm like, just making sure when they run
So
in.
what I did downstairs, I could do this to you too.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a little block you can pick up from the landing to prevent the door from shutting, essentially a wedge.
I would do that.
Okay.
Although I still hang near the door. I come in if I'm pretty clear I can keep it open, but I am back there just in case somebody pulls like a okey doke on us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Catabel, it very literally is once bitten. So,
Oh,
hey.
I feel like I should take another point of damage for that.
Yeah, you're good. You're good for that. Actually, no. Let's give you the +1 die for just
No. Okay, fine. All right. It's emotional trauma. It's true. It's true.
It all
vicious
comes
mockery.
It all comes flooding back to you, Rose, seeing the symbol carved into Nolan Moon. Yeah, it isn't just from the books of your parents that you've seen that face of Abaddon before now. You've seen it before, but where? Where? It's almost like a memory, almost like an ancestral memory. No, a story your grandmother once told you. In the full game of They Came From Beyond the Grave, this may be a fantastic opportunity for a cast back to the 19th century where you would be playing ancestral versions of yourselves. But for the sake of this session, when you were just a little hunter hunting little monsters, just imps of ahahahak, of no vampires or werewolves or the like.
with a tiny little knife.
Yeah. You would sit on your grandmother's knee as she sat in the rocking chair. It was a pretty unstable storytelling environment, but bear with me. She told you the story of the goat-faced devil. She told you the story of Abaddon and how he would mark his sacrifices and learn to live forever in the realm of man if he could devour the souls of his followers' descendants. It was at that point she said, if you ever see the face of Abaddon, you must run the other way because it will be you that he wishes to devour.
Dun, dun, dun. There's like a weird fade as she like goes back into the memory and then comes back into herself. She looks at everybody else and she's like, I think it's clear at this point that this is a trap. I know it's a trap for me, but why is it a trap for all of you? And she pulls the photographs out of her bag and spreads them out on the ground. She goes,
I don't care. I seek only the truth, no matter where it takes me.
Yes, that is what I am trying to do.
Do you have a photograph of this guy before he had the cutting?
Yeah, do I have a picture of him too?
Yeah.
There was a photograph of him taking something illegal nasally.
Yeah, nice. Look, Catabel, Father Tremaine. They were spying on you. They were spying on all of us.
What is the photo of me?
The photo of you is definitely not of you in priestly vestments. In fact, this is probably the most confusing to the rest of the group if they cast a look over at Father Tremaine's photograph. You would have seen it earlier, of course. He appears to be conducting some kind of magic show. You know, he's literally pulling a rabbit out of a hat. It couldn't be more incriminating.
And what is Catabel's?
Catabel's is him sitting in the park with his dear old mother.
So just the least cool thing.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, my mama's amazing. Second of all, I'm always ready for a slap. I'm slap shit out of this fake priest.
Are you taking the brass knuckles off first?
Yes, I will, because I don't actually want to. I don't actually want to
slap.
Yeah, but just, yeah.
You lied to me.
I don't know that I want to use it mechanically, but I do have a trademark. I'm always ready for a slap, but I'm not trying to break his jaw. I am just like, yeah. I just slap him.
Yeah, you slap Tremaine. No roll required. It's a hard cuff to the face, and you stagger on your feet.
But you know you deserve it.
Oh yeah.
Isn't a man allowed to find a calling in life?
Is there a picture of the therapist as well?
There is indeed, but hers is probably the most mundane. I mean, even compared to Catabel's, hers is just her at her desk looking, it looks like, at the photographer.
So it looks like on these, she was the only one who knew she was being photographed. I think she was a plant.
That would be thematic. That would be thematically appropriate.
Like vegetative life.
No, but anyway, all of us are clearly being surveilled. Also, this one was dead with the mark of Abaddon carved into him. My grandmother always said that if we saw that, he was coming for me. However, I must stand and fight. I cannot let this go on past my generation.
Look around this room. What else is in this room? You said it's like a bandstand room? Like a ballroom?
Yeah, like a very large ballroom.
I search his body and see if there's anything else on him or if his personal effects have been removed.
He does still have his personal effects on him, you think, except he was wearing a button-down shirt much the same as you. And something quite distinct, he had a pendant around his neck when he arrived. That's not there anymore. But he's still got cash in his pocket. He's still got his car keys. He's still got some dope. Hell.
Yeah. Y'all see earlier, this turkey, he had a little bling on necklace on. It's gone. They left all his cash. They left his stash, but they took all that with them.
So he was face down. Does it look like he staggered in here? Is there drops of blood? Like he staggered in, or was he dragged in? Or did it happen right here?
No, that is a very good question. There is indeed a trail of blood. It goes deeper into the ballroom, and there are two doors either side of it, but it only goes to one of them. Looks like he's been dragged here and positioned. When Rose found him, as I say, he was laying there prostrate. as in flat, on his front, arms out at either side.
I will follow that trail of blood.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm gonna put the photos back in my bag. Say, are you all with me?
Of course.
This was clearly staged. I'm looking around to see where could someone be watching us from. Like we were supposed to come here and see this was all supposed to happen. So I'm looking for where that is.
Okay, well, there are a lot of very heavy curtains around the room, so there could be anyone looking from there. And in fact, as you start looking around a bit suspiciously, that's when you hear it. You hear footsteps running and slam of a door from behind one of the curtains.
I go that way.
Yeah, let's all run over there.
Mm-hmm. I'm
We're
like,
a
somebody
Scooby
behind the
gang
curtain.
at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yoinks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You do indeed. You run over. You pull the curtain aside. There's a door there. It's not opulent like the rest of them. It's not dressed. It's like a servant's entrance, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
So hence probably why it's behind the curtains. And you can yank that door open. Do so.
Yes, please.
Okay.
As he's doing that, I'm just gonna have my shotgun ready.
As they're doing that, I am moving away from the door.
Yeah, if I see she's got the shotgun, I kind of pull it open and step out of the way in case she's gonna blast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As you ran over there, you open the door. Catabel, you're there, but Rose is right over your shoulder with the shotgun. Jeeves is on the other side of this room, which is like a drinks and meals preparation room, where people might go around with a tray, exit from with a tray for ballroom dancing and the like. And he's working a door on the other side, and he puts his hands up and says, please.
I slapped shit out of him with the brass knuckles still on because I said I was going to.
Leave us in a heating up room.
We can do that, and then we can interrogate him, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seems reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not going to make you roll. I like it narratively. So as he says, please don't shoot, you just step up to him and
Mm-hmm. No, open hand.
Yeah.
Yes, I slap him,
yes,
but still with the brass knuckles on.
Clean his clock, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And he staggers and crumples to the floor. Do you slap him again?
No, we need information. My point was made.
Yeah.
Dramatically.
Yeah. I guess I do sort of like I push him up like kind of rough against when he's sitting kind of against the shelf there, and I'm all like, all right, now you better start talking, you dig? Because I'm bitten, I'm poisoned, and I had some bad cognac, and I'm having a rough night. I don't know how much time I got left, but I do know I still got 4 bullets, Jeeves. So you better give me a reason not to feed you one of them right now.
It looks like your hand should be fine. I can see tobacco has been applied to the wound, and as everyone knows, that's what you require to extract venom.
Science!
I feel like the lightning needs to crash when he says science.
You do have dramatic meteorology.
No, I'll save our one thing.
Yeah. We may need the sun to come out.
Yeah. But I look back and I'm just like, Rose, what you want to know from this sucker?
What do you know about the Mark of Abaddon?
Mostly what I told you, that it was a symbol of Lord Karnstein's family. It's been passed down from generation to generation. They mark their victims with it. They mark the walls with it. I suspect all of you but one will be marked with it before the night is out.
I'm not going to let that happen.
He is all-powerful and almighty. He will not let you leave. If you try turning tail and exiting to your cars, you will find that they will not start. You will find that the road will fall away, because Abaddon is the devil himself.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I will not meddle in the black arts, you understand? What is your role in all of this?
Quit pretending to be a priest. I do want to know the information, but quit pretending to be a priest.
That's one of my quips.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's good.
You can have your additional die, Ian.
Was it you who
My-
killed Mr. Prog-Rock Greaseball?
No, I would not dirty my hands with such base behavior. I merely had to watch to make sure you discovered the body. I didn't expect you to start searching through the curtains. That was my mistake. My role is to serve the master. Nothing more, nothing less, just as I have done for all of my life.
Which master? Luther or his dad?
Or Abaddon.
They are all the
Yeah,
same.
pretty sure it's the same guy.
Aha!
And the reason you were selected, chosen, your families once served Lord Abaddon.
Much to
least-
my great shame.
As I said, each of you carries shame and sin for something that you've done. At least 3 generations back, willing cultists of the Lord Karnstein himself. But then, as the descendants dilute and move away, his power wanes, and now he needs you back. And knowing that you will not serve him willingly, given the vocations that you have taken up, he will have to consume you to regain his strength. But he is strong even without your souls, and he will have them.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I haven't seen the laboratory yet.
Well,
It could be a
it's-
really good laboratory.
It's downstairs. You could have accessed it via the study, but I understand that's in flames right now.
Let me ask you one
Not our
question,
call.
Steve. For this plan to work, does he need to consume all our souls, or does every little one of them still have him out somehow?
All but one. The one that survives. We're not lying. We abide by the letter of the contract. One of you will inherit everything that was Karnstein's. Everything.
All right, Catabel, that's all we're gonna get out of him. If you want to kill him,
Yeah.
now's the time.
Oh, maybe we should carve Abaddon's face on his chest
Oh,
first.
no.
That would mean 2 of us could survive.
I like
I
this
ca-
logic.
I cock
It's
the hammer.
science. It's math.
I cock the hammer and I'm like, last call, Jeeves. You better give me some reason to keep you alive. Otherwise, I'm about to spray paint this wall with your brains.
I am just a simple human, a simple, frail old man. You are not killers. You are not killers of humans. I am not afraid.
You just admitted you're a servant of the devil himself.
Like, and you also said that we got some sin and taint on our souls or whatever. So, like, what's one more for good old time's sake?
Got you there.
I go on knowing that my soul is clean. Do what you will.
I actually don't shoot him simply because I'm trying to keep my bullets, but I do hit him with the gun. Like, right.
Oh,
Knock him out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is there any way to like tie him or secure him? Like anything in here where we could like leave him here?
yeah. There's
Because-
there's curtain cords and the like in the other rooms. But he's
Because
my
I'm
favorite.
sure he'll be completely whole and intact right here if we ever circle back. But his hands,
Absolutely.
feet, gag, you know, tuck him under something where he
Mhm.
wouldn't be conspicuous.
With the body
Yeah.
on top of him.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I think wherever they were trying to get us to follow that blood trail, that was probably a trap. This whole place is a trap. Don't get me wrong, but maybe we can look at that laboratory that you keep going on about. Maybe we can find some information down up in there.
Hmm.
That would be great.
But where was he go? I want to.
Well,
Pretty
only one
dark.
way to find out.
I'm just going to
That
call
way.
a very brief break out of character just for 30 seconds because, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we are doing a giveaway of a free PDF of They Came From Beneath the Sea to viewers of this nonsense.
Every game of They Came From should be nonsense.
Yeah. So if you are interested in getting a free PDF of They Came From Beneath the Sea before it is released, please do just comment in the chat and we will announce who the raffle winner is at the end of our session.
It only makes sense. The rigid logic of science.
Do they need to like type any particular command or?
Nope.
No, as long as they're active, we will be able to enter them into the raffle.
Got it.
And also, any donations you can make to any of the charities connected to this convention are greatly appreciated. We're winding down on day 3 now, so if you can go over to onyxpathcon.com and donate to either the Thurgood Marshall College Fund or Badhana Group, even if it's just $1, really is appreciated. Or both. Yep. This is
both great causes.
This is free entertainment, but if you are happy to donate to one of our charities, we really appreciate it, and so will they.
Will say I've been doing a lot of charity work. I always do a lot of charity work, but obviously it's gone up about 500% in the last 10 to 12 days.
Huh, I wonder why.
But I can tell you, literally every dollar helps. People think like, oh, I've only got $5, or I don't have hundreds of dollars. Like, it really does add up. It really does make a difference. And there's been plenty of times in my life I did not have an extra $5, so I get it. But if you can, please help.
Yep. That's what I'm telling everybody. Like same thing. Like $5. $1. $1 helps. If we've got 79 people watching and everybody donates $1, that's $79.
Yep.
It all helps.
Mathematical science.
Speaking of, I would like to use one of my trademarks. Since we're trying to figure out what Jeeves was doing, I have an Enigma's trademark that human behavior is predictable. So if we're all mice in a maze here, I'm like, where was he headed? Like the father just said. I'm like, if he's stringing us along, where's the next trap he's trying to spring for us? That's what I'm trying to extract.
Okay. Again, not going to make you roll for that because it's a good connection that you've made there. Yes, the blood trail would almost definitely lead you into some other trap. Where he's headed, just based on the architecture of this house that you know, and you've not been around much of it, but you have been to houses like this before in some of your investigations. This is servants' quarters, and big old houses like this, many of them built at turn of the century or just before, have servants' corridors between the rooms. If this is a place that's going to host lots of guests, the servants are to neither be seen nor heard. So they will be delivering food and carrying laundry and doing all the rest out of sight in narrow, cramped corridors between rooms. And it takes you back to those eyes you saw in that painting. There may well be somewhere to walk behind that as well. Hell, it's at this level of the house.
I recount that for my associates. I'm like, y'all didn't see this, but we was out in the hallway. One of them paints, I swear, it's looking at me like in them Scooby-Doo cartoons. And back in the day when they had like servants and they wanted people like me have to like walking through the back entrance and all that other nonsense, all the time they'd be go sliding through the walls, right? And so I dig this cat Jeeves here. He been getting around and we ain't seen him. It's probably some sort of like servants passageway all up through this place, like some sort of maze within a maze. Can you dig?
Yeah, or like Rose said, that possibly the therapist is doing the same thing.
Perhaps a way for us to avoid the traps that Karnstein have laid for us.
It's worth a try if it takes us to the laboratory.
Open the door that he was trying for, because he was trying for a door when we caught him. Open it and see where it goes.
Okay, who's going to lead, may I ask?
Well, you got that street sweeper, honeydew, so if you want to go first, that's all right, fine by me.
Right before I go through, I'm going to turn to everybody. I'm going to say, all right. It's clear they didn't expect more than one of us to make it out of here alive, if they're even telling us the truth. But we have a choice right now. Tonight, we could take down the devil himself if we work together.
I'm in.
I seek only truth.
It's a good trailer quote, by the way.
Yeah.
No matter where it takes me, I'm with you.
Got a bell?
They said they didn't sabotage my ride, and that in and of itself is the reason for me to slap shit out the devil. So yeah, count me in.
All right.
Shit out of the devil himself.
I look forward to seeing you punch the devil. And then we go on our way. Shotgun.
Yes.
Are these hallways lit?
They are by hanging light bulbs. there's little alcoves in the walls where things like saucers and plates and trays may be stored occasionally. But this isn't a place for where you would feel particularly comfortable. You can just about fit two abreast, but it's more comfortable not to, especially as one of you is toting a shotgun.
Also, I'm sure all the lights are flickering and swinging and doing all those things that lights do.
Oh, that they certainly are. I mean, that is exactly where you are right now. That despite the lack of breeze, there is a steady swing to those bulbs. As you're walking down this corridor, you think you can hear another scampering of feet, but it's on the other side of the wall. It's not heavy enough to be human. Maybe more of these imps, perhaps. It could just be rats in the walls. I mean, nothing bad has ever happened with rats in the walls. You keep going. There's door. You occasionally pass a door. Are you heading up as you reach a staircase that goes up and down?
Oh, down.
He wants to go to the laboratory, so let's go down first.
Do I get any indicator of where that painting would have been, where the eyes would have been?
You think you're going to have to keep doing a bit of a circuit at this level. So that means going the other way. You could split up from the rest of the group. Or
That went poorly last time. No,
Father Anthony with you.
Do you need to know that badly?
I mean, says Mr. Laboratory here. Yes, but it's all right.
Best
we'll go to
room in the house.
That's a low bar. It's a low bar in this house. No, I will stay with the group for the laboratory.
Laboratory.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
You head down the rickety wooden staircase that creaks and cracks beneath your feet. In fact, Rose, as you lead, one of the steps does splinter underneath your heel. Could you make an athletics and dexterity roll, please?
I can. That's my good dice pool. Two successes.
Two successes is sufficient to hop down onto the next landing. Everyone else sees this. It's not going to catch them by surprise.
Mind the gap there.
You all make your way down. You assume by now, you're on the ground floor now. There's going to need to be another staircase to take you down to the cellar, but there's a whole stretch of corridor, one heading west, you assume, into the west wing, one heading east.
Can we kind of triangulate where like the study would have been from where we are?
Yeah, I would say so. Again, no roll required for that. I think you're not that turned around to do so.
Mm-hmm.
The walls here are even more claustrophobically cramped. The lights are even farther spread apart, so there's areas of darkness. You step through them, but it's like walking along a street in a noir movie. You squeeze your way down this corridor. You hear that scampering of feet and claws behind the walls again, and an occasional
That sounds like a nip.
Anytime I hear it, I like punch the wall with my brand. Boom! Get back from there, you slimy mother. Boom!
As we're walking down the hallway.
And sure enough, you find not a staircase, but a dumb waiter.
Suspicious.
Only room for one inside.
How bad you want it?
Well,
I want a staircase. A series of right angles that we step upon that take us down to the laboratory.
Well, I think it is less
Science
likely.
Of geometry.
It is less likely that this thing is configured to like catch on fire or explode or be filled with spikes or some other kind of bull right now if you want to go down through this dumbwaiter. But if you don't, I get it because I don't want to take my black ass down it. Ha! Can you dig?
I don't know.
It's for a dumb waiter, not a smart professor.
I would like to see if the dumbwaiter is a trap using my trademark technology, I can turn this into a trap.
So you realize here, Ian, if you fail this horribly, you'll be saying that it's fine, but
Yeah.
you have just turned it into a trap.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, you get 2 additional dice. Give it your best. I would
Right.
say technology and hell, it's all about the mental attributes. So we'll go for technology and intellect.
Right.
I'm like, I use bardic inspiration.
You strum your lyre.
Ding.
3 success.
3 successes. Okay, no, the dumbwaiter is not trapped.
I think this is safe.
But it will still only fit one of you, and that one of you is
All
going to
right.
have to be pretty cramped as it goes down.
Yep, I'm going. All right.
We could just look for the staircase. There has to be a staircase. They have to get down there.
I do
Okay.
say before you go, Rose, I'm all like, I will say, Dr. Quincy here does make a good point, because even if we do this, it's going to be one person left up here. The last person that's number 3 down, going to be trapped either way. So one way or another, we're going to need some stairs.
Pretty sure the stairs were in the oven room, but if you want to go back
No one
there,
has
we
to.
can
No
do
one
that.
has to stay there because you pull yourself up and down.
Is that
True.
how it works? Is it you pull yourself up and down, or someone else remotely has to?
You can pull yourself up and down. The cords
okay.
are visible in the back.
Oh, well,
Works
then
either way.
I retract my complaint.
Okay.
But one of you will be left in the corridor to go down last.
So I'm going to pull a knife, a very small crossbow, and like a 2-shot pistol out of my bag, and just give one to each person. Y'all can fight over these.
Oh,
And
I will
will-
take the pistol.
It's like the littlest snub nose.
I'm
Like,
thank you. Holds it
I'm
like
going to
this.
lower myself down.
Squeak, 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 squeak,
okay.
squeak, squeak. And Rose disappears out of sight. Rose, you enter the cellars. And you can hear the bubbling and crackling as you arrive down there. Clunk. You can't see anything immediately in front of you. I mean, in the sense that there's no room. You've just got a narrow corridor, a right turn that then clearly widens into a lit room because you can see a flickering light casting light and shadows into where you are now.
I'm gonna go down to the corner and peer around.
Rose,
Okay.
are you okay?
I'm gonna stay quiet for right now. I don't want to scream down here in case there's something down here.
You up above hear nothing in response.
Oh,
Rose, you peer around the corner and you can see a cadre of cloaked individuals working on what looks like some kind of chimerical aberration, or many of them, in fact. They are stitching together beasts, foul and obscene. You can't see their faces. They're just leant over, stitching with needles, occasionally murmuring to each other in what sounds to you like Greek. You think you recognize it from a restaurant you visited once. One of them goes, ha, and smashes a plate on the floor. It's unique.
Opa!
Pita tzatziki.
Yeah,
They're eating olives and hummus.
they've got
It's a-
togas on. No, it's
Yeah.
all very on brand. I get it. Yeah, I
It's
get it.
it's a whole thing.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
The whole ritual involves them dancing together.
Uzo, just
Yeah.
tossing back Uzo shots. Yeah.
You know, it's rare that we go after the Greeks in RPGs, so I love Greece. Anyway, that's what you see.
Okay.
But the laboratory, not that you're too familiar with laboratory setups, although you have raided a couple, it's pretty damn extensive. You can see, as you're peering around, doors that could be blast furnace doors. You know, they're thick, wrought metal with thick studs around the outsides and circular sort of hatch-style dials on each.
So question. Have they started pulling the dumbwaiter back up, or can I do like a run and cram myself in there to get back up to where they are so they don't come down and start making a lot of noise?
Let's find out.
Okay.
So, Richard, you were concerned as Professor Quincy
Exactly.
about the fact that Rose had not responded. So, are you putting the dumbwaiter back up?
I'm probably going to call down again.
More loudly?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, you have the opportunity to use a rewrite to essentially cancel something from happening if you want. But you would have to do it by spending it on either... No, in fact, you'd have to spend it on dramatic meteorology to drown out his voice, basically. If you don't, the cultists are going to hear him.
Yes, go for dramatic meteorology just as I yell.
Yeah, I'm okay spending it on that.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So we have 0 in the pool now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there is a thunderclap at the same time as he just shouts down your name. And somehow, even in the cellar, you can hear it.
Yeah. And like during the thunderclap is when I try to throw myself back into the dumbwaiter so I can get back up there.
Squeak, 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 squeak. Pop.
So I'm just like on the edge. I like didn't come all the way back up. And it's just funny to me if her like little head just pops up. She's like, so the laboratory is really cool, but also there's some folks down here stitching together some terrifying abomination, like culty folks, like black cloaks. Very creepy. Don't recommend.
But the laboratory's down there.
Yes, full of cultists in creepy robes stitching together something terrifying.
Perhaps we should.
And it's a really cool laboratory.
It is a very cool laboratory. There's some blast doors. There's some bubbly bits. There's something that like clunk. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're all speaking Greek and drinking ouzo.
Were there chemical, glassware, things of that nature? Or was it electronic?
I'm assuming it was your typical mad scientist lab, Matthew, all bubbly and Bunsen burners and beakers
like
and bits.
Michael Constantine?
Yeah, it was like a carryover from they came from beneath the
Yeah,
sea.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it was a pretty typical lab thing. Also, we should not go down there.
Or we
I'm sorry,
should.
what was that? I didn't quite hear that.
Stop them.
I mean, if y'all think we can take them on, great. I'm all for that, but I need you all to be able to back me up. You, I trust. And she points at Catabel. You get my back. The point is, if we're going to go down there, we need to be real quiet till we're all together, because they're not going to see us immediately, but if they hear us, there's a problem.
Just turn and look at the professor.
So you gotta be real quiet. Can we do that?
I'm like, all right, you going back down. I'll get down. You just get into position with that street sweeper, and then I'll come down second, and I'll get in position 2, and then you two come down, and when we're ready, we'll do the do.
Okay,
I'll come down third, and I'll be very, very quiet.
Okay, fine. This time, because we should have worked this out last time, we were very stupid. When I get to the bottom and I'm out, I will knock twice on the dumbwaiter, so you know to pull it back up. Okay? Yes? Good?
Agreed.
Go. Okay. And she just like pops back down and starts going back.
Squeak, 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 squeak. Pump.
Eh.
You get out.
And I knock twice.
Yep. I'm fairly certain there is a urban legend or ghost story about knocking in the dumbwaiter twice, but it goes back up. And who's coming down next?
I'll go down next.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Catabel, you fit yourself in. Squeak, 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 squeak. Dump.
When I get out, I go to the opposite side of the dumbwaiter with my gun out, covered. So when she knocks, I'm like ready. So if they come, we start shooting.
Yeah, all you can hear is mild Greek nearby. Luckily, it doesn't appear they've noticed you yet.
As opposed to spicy Greek.
I was
Yes,
about to say,
like-
are there like rows of bottles of Windex?
Yes,
stacked,
yes. It's going to start getting spicy. You send it up, and
We'll go next.
okay, and Professor Quincy, you make your way down. Yes, the laboratory is very appealing. It's within it's almost within sight. You almost want to just stand in full view and catch a sight.
We need to hold him back so that he can't see it until we're ready to go. Like me and Catabel need to form a wall so he can't actually see it because he's going to ruin everything.
Now you haven't
not
sent
an idiot.
You've not sent the dumbwaiter up yet, or you've not knocked it yet. So, Father Tremaine,
yes,
while you're up in the corridor by yourself,
keeping an eye out behind me.
Your face is still stinging, your ears still ringing from where Catabel struck you. A man of the cloth. A man of a cloth.
A cloth.
I'm about to say, no, he's dressed in cloth. That is an accurate statement.
It's true.
Yes,
it might
that
be
is
a
true.
really long scarf made of a bunch of smaller scarves tied together, but it's a cloth.
I feel like he's made up from whole cloth, his entire personality.
Oh, nicely done.
And Father Tremaine, you...
He
I
might be somebody's father. We don't know.
Exactly. You hear a voice from down the end of the corridor. Father Tremaine, and you recognize it as Dr. Seward, therapist.
Keep the gun hidden, but ready. Dr. Seward.
I'm injured. They tried to carve something into me, and I managed to get away. I can't move. They've cut me. You're right to be dubious. Isn't what she says. She doesn't say that. I'd understand if you're paranoid. I genuinely can't move.
I will cautiously.
I need help.
I will cautiously approach.
Okay.
I just feel like this is the number 2 from Austin Powers. I'm alive, but I'm very badly burned.
I've broken both my legs. I could see the bone.
It really hurts.
Yeah. Tremaine, you slowly shift your weight and move down the corridor to where Seward is calling you like an oaf.
And gun.
Around this time, there will be a knock, I assume, from the dumbwaiter. Please, Father, I think if you don't get me out of here soon, I'm going to die. You can't see her, but it is a very dark corridor.
I think then that all your secrets will be mine. And I will discover what you are up to. I'm going to run back to the dumbwaiter. I don't trust her.
Good use
get
of
in.
it. Boom.
I'm falling for that.
And yeah, you crash into the basement. You do not have any rewrites at this point, so it makes a loud crunch. The speaking in Greek stops. Greek music stops.
You hear the clink of Uzo glasses falling to the ground.
Opa!
They were like, puts down hummus ominously.
They turn their heads as they put it down.
You know, the best thing about this, and this is true, the stream I'm doing after this is like an Odyssey, Iliad themed Greek adventure. So I'm like, how random that this is my day to day.
There you go. Think of the inspiration you can take from this game.
Gotta have some feta cheese
like,
afterwards.
It's like Scylla and Charybdis. I'm maneuvering between here. Yeah.
They came from
Wow.
Spanakopita.
Careful, everybody. They're going to stuff us like grapes if they catch us.
We love you, Greece.
I do. I wouldn't know all of these food references if I didn't love it.
Exactly.
We love your Pythagoras.
Yes.
Eh.
And his theorem. What are you going to do? The Greek, as I said, the Greek dialogue has stopped.
I'm going to ready my shotgun.
Yeah, to be clear, can we see these people or we've just heard them?
You're currently hiding around the corner. The only person that's seen them is Rose.
I look at her and I just pull my gun out and I'm like,
You
I'm just
hear
gonna go for it.
someone call out in Greek.
And what
and
do they say?
that's true. You can speak Greek. So, Master, is that you?
The rest of us don't hear that. That must be great.
Yeah.
I don't. It's too dark. I don't know what he's doing.
Now you can hear footsteps coming over towards you as you try and sign your way through this dark room.
I know what you're doing.
if I hear someone coming that way, I look at her and nod and I step out and shoot him.
Yep.
It was the police detective trying to work out what. No,
It's true.
Yeah.
Who's randomly Greek?
It's true. He's unannounced. Too bad.
Just like both of us side by side. It's like, what?
Yep.
All they do was making pizzas. It's not right.
I was about to say, apparently this is a stand your ground hellish devil estate, you know? So we're just going to come out and bang. Yep.
It's not even our ground to stand. They live here.
one of you.
One of ours.
We're just home invaders right now, though.
One of us, yeah, that's true. One of us will have legal cause for this afterwards. Yeah. No.
Hopefully, it's one of us with the guns.
Definitely staying against the wall when they go around to do their dirty, dirty work.
I'm going full Danny DeVito, Always Sunny, and that's when I started blasting. Yeah.
Okay, those of you with guns, I would like you to make some rolls, please. I only need you to make one roll each, but because you're firing multiple times, I'm going to give you each an additional die to account for essentially multiple rounds. So that's going to be dexterity. Yeah, you're firing loosely. We're going to go for dexterity and aim, please, or aim and dexterity, I should say.
All right.
I use my extra die from earlier that I never used.
Yeah, although Catabel owns a pretty gun, he has no skill at firing it, I should add.
It's true. I mean, normally I just got to show it to them suckers and they get in line. You dig? Right. But I do have 2 dice earlier from my quip, correct?
Yep.
Does that still apply?
Not the quip anymore because you used that, but
Okay.
I didn't give you the opportunity to use the bonus from waxing poetical, which you did so well. So you can have
Excellent.
that.
And I have one from being injured also, correct?
Yeah, so that's additional 2 dice then.
Okay, all right. Hey, that is 2 10s and 1 other success. Was that 5 successes?
Yeah.
Hey.
So yeah, this PI with no skill at shooting finds his god in his gun. And what about Rose Thorn with the shotgun?
5.
Another 5 successes.
Yeah, I rolled 2 10s and 9, and then a bunch of 2s and 3s.
We're highly motivated.
What does Professor Quincy do during the chaos?
So they've whipped around and are standing there shooting.
Bam, bam, bam. Yeah.
It's very loud.
And I had ducked around where they were around the corner. Does the corner put me in view of the laboratory?
No.
No.
Like, all you can see is, like, the end of the hallway and us.
In there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to stick
Yeah.
your head around where we are to see
I
it.
definitely have to look.
Okay, it's heart breaking and vial breaking, test tube beaker breaking, and Bunsen burner breaking because the shells and bullets are flying thick and fast in this perfect laboratory where an abomination against God and humanity is being shot to shit, along with a bunch of Greek cultists who really don't know what hit them. They just signed up, you know, their own temp contracts, and it's just an internship.
Not even supposed to be here today.
They're caught in overtime by the master. It's not nice at all.
And what would be a hellish montage to a rocking and yet royalty-free piece of electric guitar.
It is the 70s. Get you some slap bass in there too, though. That boom, 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 boom.
That's a very different kind of scene. I think if the camera is basically just staying on you as you're firing the guns and not on the people being shot, that is very much a slap bass just coming in like a music video, lots of dramatic zooms. And Father Tremaine, what are you doing during this? Well, Professor Quincy is shouting, "No!"
I'm keeping an eye on the dumbwaiter.
Are you still in the dumbwaiter?
No, I've crawled out of the dumbwaiter, but
Okay.
I have my little 2-shot pistol ready, and I'm watching out for anyone sneaking up on us.
It's just as well you do, because the dumbwaiter starts going back up.
She said she couldn't move. I'm just gonna keep my gun trained on it.
Bam, 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 bam. Montage ends with a squeak, 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 squeak. And hunched up, curled up in almost a cube, bound to strike, is a positively devilish looking Dr. Seward. And she sees you, Father Tremaine, and you see her, and she hisses and vaults. You've got like a double derringer, so do your best.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna pull the trigger twice. So that what's that? Dexterity and aim.
Yeah.
Uh,
If you've got more points in cunning, feel free to use that instead, because you have had your gun trained on the dumbwaiter for a while.
Thank you. I'm going to say.
However, you do have a complication of 2, which is you are petrified,
Yes.
and you have the worst gun in the world.
I'm going to yell, "I'll give you the most unnatural kind of death."
Hey, size matters, baby. That's all I'm saying. Size matters.
Hey, got a 10 and a 9, so 3 successes.
Considering
Nice.
So you buy off your 2 complications of being petrified and having a shit gun, you still have 1 success, and 1 success, I think, for dramatic purposes, is all you need to, as she jumps at you, connect right between the eyes, and she bundles back into the dumbwaiter. Now, I have to say to the players and to the viewers, we are running over time. So what might happen at this point? Because we do have other panels and games.
Right. I have a very short window before
Yeah.
mine actually.
Yes.
You have like
Rich and I
25
have to
minutes right now.
push.
Yeah. Is
But
that, like many movies made in this period,
It has a really
ending
short
makes no
denouement that
sense.
sucks.
yeah, it either has a really shitty ending because they had planned for Peter Cushing to show up in the final act, but he just couldn't make it. He missed his flight, or they couldn't pay him enough, and so they just had to kill a bunch of Greek extras who were playing cultists, and at the last minute, for no explicable reason, turned Dr. Seward into a cultist, despite the fact she wasn't in the original script. That makes sense from a genre standpoint, and there's a perfect way out for me as director come story guide. The
logic dictates that she
Yeah.
was the master all along.
Exactly. In Greek, lord and lady are the same. Therefore, that's why there we go, we're making our own ending. When Catabel looked up at the painting and said, "Does Karnstein look like the butler or look like Nolan?"
No,
The
it
answer was no.
It
He
was
looks
Seward
exactly
all
like
along,
Seward, complete with the
in a
mustache.
dress.
This is exactly what a writer's room for one of these movies must have sounded like. If we're just like throwing random shit at the wall, we're like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
What if the villain was a woman? Nobody will ever expect that.
yes, who can we get for that? Ingrid Pitt's available. I think.
Yeah.
And more likely, they got to day 29 of shooting, and they had the embarrassing discussion where we've actually run out of budget.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do here? We've still got the actress who played Seward.
Yep.
Okay. Let's make it happen. And so the story comes to an odd denouement as Seward is bundled back into the dumbwaiter and it goes back up. Someone is pulling it up. There should be something after this scene. But it freezes and the credits start rolling in blood red font.
They just show a scene from the beginning of the movie with like the sun setting.
Yeah,
again
Behind the house.
stock footage.
Another
So-
good one is if it was the shot of the house, but there were flames superimposed behind it.
Yeah. Someone set the
wait,
camera on
Wait,
fire.
if the house burned down at the end, that's what I was hoping. Does that mean that I actually fulfilled my long-term aspiration of destroying Karnstein house?
Yes, actually, I think you
Sure.
did. I don't think anyone else did. Anyone else achieved their aspiration. Although that's not true. Rich did discover the scientific truth behind events at Karnstein House to a limited degree.
Great. Yeah, I'm also
I'm
filling
gonna
my
say-
satchel with all the little doodads I can pull that haven't been destroyed yet.
I'm going to say I took the cash off Nolan's body, thereby becoming richer than I came in with. So I achieved my short aspiration.
Yeah, that was your short-term aspiration.
He's not using it anymore. Yeah, let me just go ahead and take that off of him. Yeah.
And what about Father Tremaine? What were Father Tremaine's aspirations?
I wanted to
Ian?
be taken seriously for once. That certainly did not happen. And
No,
I
then
mean,
think-
I feel like you gotta be pretty serious to punch someone in the face.
Fair.
Yeah, you did
Mhm.
shoot. You did shoot a out of context vampire in the head as she lunged at you. So
Out of context. Can I get a t-shirt that says out of context vampire for whenever I need to be in the sun or like at a grocery store?
I'm gonna steal that.
I just want that on a shirt. Please make one, Ian.
Yeah,
I'll buy it.
that's coming. That's coming.
Guys, I'm
that's
gonna
coming soon.
grab
Redbubble.
I'm gonna grab
All right.
some food before
Okay.
I go to
We
the
gotta
next
go.
thing.
all right, so we're just going to wrap up.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everybody, for playing.
Thank you, that was
Did we
so
give
much.
out our book? Did we give out a free book?
No, that's what Ian needs to do now as I'm winding
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
Rich, if
Ian-
you need to turn off your video,
I
then
will.
we'll deal with
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
It'll just
Ian-
look weird.
Ian is going to say in the messages who won a copy of They Came From Beneath the Sea in PDF. But thank you so much, everyone who watched and interacted in the chat. As you know, I stole some of your ideas, and that's perfect for this kind of game. Yes, it ended in a silly way, but it is a silly game, and hopefully the fact that everyone had fun with it conveys to you the kind of mood you go for in a They Came From game. They're not serious. They can be serious. If you're interested in a serious They Came From game, go on redmoonroleplaying.com. There's a very Call of Cthulhu like They Came From Beneath the Sea game, very grim in tone.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the nonsense that has been played over this weekend, both by Dixie and Ian in their Beneath the Sea game earlier this weekend.
I have never laughed so hard at a role-playing game in my entire life. Like literally by the time we hit our halftime, like my face hurt and we still had half of it to go. Like I knew it was going to be hard because I've seen Jacob improv before or whatever. I was like, it's going to be so hard to keep a straight face with these people. But I had never played with Wes. And so that was just like a blindside comedy bomb of Wes's character. Ian, like, he just stopped jamming for like 40 minutes and just let us riff off each other. And it was so fun and so
Great.
silly.
It was amazing.
And we used almost every single one of our cinematics. The only ones we didn't use, so we didn't use deleted scene, which cost too much to justify, and we didn't use I'm a serious actor. There are lots more cinematics in the book itself, loads of quips. There's loads of these meta powers. That's basically what steers these games entirely. But thank you very much also to the players. Obviously, Rich, he'll get my thanks separately. But Ian, you were a delight, and just as when I ran Beneath the Sea for you at Midwinter, it is always a pleasure. Dixie, likewise. Obviously, this is only the third indistinct game I have run for you, and you are fantastic.
Thank you. It's super fun. And like playing with y'all was fun. BJ Walters, this was great. This was much fun to play with you. I got to, I was getting to play with people I've seen that I got to play with.
Oh yeah, while not a competition, not an awards show, I do have to really say that B-Dave, you blew the genre out of the water in just about the most perfect way possible. When I wrote on your character sheet before sending it to you that you were playing a smooth PI, or what the words to that effect, I didn't quite anticipate Dolomite kind
Yeah, I
of.
was gonna say we got Dolomite and it was amazing. That was so good.
Yeah.
That's this neighborhood I was in, Dolomite, Black Dynamite.
Yep.
Just in there. Yeah, I'm glad it landed. Yeah, no, thank you for having me along. It was a blast.
Congrats, Ivory Knight 22. You won the giveaway.
Oh, well done, Ivory.
Congratulations. Yes, and I hate to do the same and run, but I also have to be somewhere else in about
We all
10
gotta go.
minutes.
Yeah,
So
we all
We've
do.
all got to go. But yeah, They Came From Beneath the Sea is still on backer kit. I'm going to link it in the chat one last time. So if you haven't ordered Beneath the Sea yet, you still can. Very limited time to do so because it has been sent to the publishers now. So please do that. Please donate to our charities, and thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Awkward Wave. Bye.
Awkward Wave.
Wave.